I had never tried this stuff before, but I walked into a buddy of ours owns a liquor store who's actually been on the podcast before. I don't know if you know the Wine Barrel or not. But,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Owned by a buddy, Jance.
Yeah.
He's been doing a bunch of bourbon store picks recently. And I walked in and was grabbing something else. And I saw that they had a couple more store picks because he's just been going crazy with it. And they gave me a sample of it. And I was like, oh, man, that is delicious. So I just grabbed the bottle without looking at the price tag like an idiot.
Yeah. That's how they get you.
But it is worth. I probably would have bought it anyway. It's damn good.
What's crazy, man, is bourbon's just out of control right now.
Oh yeah.
Everybody collects bourbon. So you're having to pay secondary prices sometimes. You know, that bottle used to be, I think, $50, $55.
Yeah, we used to joke about like our go-to example of that is like just walking into Byron's or whatever liquor store we go to and just grabbing Stag Junior off the shelf for $50.
Oh yeah,
like, whatever.
Weller's 107, any of it.
Yeah,
you know, it was readily available.
Just hanging out, just whatever. And golly,
so much regret for anybody that's been in it for a while.
Yeah. That stuff was distilled in Indiana and then shipped to Kentucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has to come out of Kentucky to be bourbon.
Right.
But yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. I think it's Oloroso sherry cask.
I honestly, sounds like you might know more than I.
Why don't we just give it to you? All right, mister. There we go.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Barrel strength. Yeah. So
that's better. I don't know if you even touched it yet, but yeah.
I love these store picks. So most of the time, whenever they're doing store picks, obviously they're traveling there to test it.
Yeah, right.
What's cool is if they get in good enough with the people there, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, so this Good Old Times is about 4 to 6 years age. Okay, it says 6 years on it, but 4 to 6 years age. Hey, you might come across a barrel that was lost.
Yeah,
that was meant for something else, and you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So if you're in good with these people, then
you get
that's why some of these store picks are good. Boy, some store picks is rough though.
I
have tried. So you don't want to tell them, but like, it's great.
Yeah,
but
every store pick we've ever come across with Jance has been great. But I have had some store picks before where I'm like, I'm gonna grab the regular one.
They clearly have a different palate than I do.
Yeah.
Well, you got someone like that's what they do. I mean, they love bourbon like that. They're not just gonna bring in something that's mediocre.
Oh,
so it's really good. Yeah, 110 proof. That's good and hot.
That's
I love it. I love hot whiskey.
And that's the thing for us too. Is like like you said, like whiskey's gotten so popular where it's something that everybody's collecting anymore, and the secondary market's huge. It's like the next sneaker game almost, where everybody's just doing something. Yeah, everybody's doing something with it, and like. Then, Kevin and I, a number of years ago, pivoted a little bit. I say pivoted, but we started getting into tequilas too. And now tequilas are just as bad. Tequilas are tough, man.
Man, so tequila, I got to watch tequila. Yeah. So unless you're drinking good tequila, I'm pretty much out on it. I know my limit,
Yeah.
But man, I started kind of venturing off into tequilas and sipping tequilas.
Oh, yeah.
Once I started doing sipping tequilas, not mixed drink tequilas. Wow.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Well, and it's one of those things where I think people who come from the bourbon realm of things that go over there, you're used to this stuff that, like you said, it's 110 proof. And, you get a good sipping tequila and you're still sitting like 90 proof on something, 80, 90 proof. And you're like, this is smooth.
Like water.
Yeah, you can taste it. You can taste every bit of it. And it's so fun with that because like it is a super easy transition over there. And you get into these anejos and things that are, aged for a long time and they are delicious.
I really got heavy into scotch for a while. So I used to work with another shop in South Oklahoma City, and I met this guy years ago. He has probably the biggest scotch collection possibly in the world. I mean, it's crazy.
Scotch gets crazy expensive too.
It's nuts, man. So the best thing that ever came out of that was I was able to drink a lot of good scotch.
Yeah, right.
and learn about scotch. So but going through like your Speyside and your Highland and Lowland.
Oh, yeah.
I love Isla. peaty whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Same.
you know, and the wife sometimes she'll, baby, here, try this. She's like, it tastes like Band-Aid. You know? I know it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I got into mixing old fashioned. So I would order my old fashions with Ardbeg 10
Oh, wow.
instead of bourbon.
Yeah.
A little smoky flavor to it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
Right.
amazing, you know, and it really brings out the cinnamon and then a lot of that.
I feel like it would balance it a little bit better. My
Yeah.
problem with old fashions is like you get like a lot of times, depending upon where you're at or who's making it or whatever, you end up with like a real syrupy bourbon.
Yeah.
And then you're adding like the sugar to it or the simple syrup or whatever they're doing. You're adding the cherry and you're just kind of stacking sweet on sweet on sweet.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit too much for me. So I like an old fashioned with a rye or something that brings like a little bit of spice to it. But yeah, I'm sure I've never done one with any kind of like with the scotch.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to try that myself. That sounds good.
Yeah, I kind of got off Scotch there for a while and really got heavy on Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
I got a little story for you here. So,
Hell yeah.
That's what this is all about.
Exactly. So, I really got into Irish whiskey, and I'm Celtic. I'm Scottish and Irish, and I had a wild idea. I said, "So, I've always wanted an Irish pub, so let's make an Irish pub." You know. And I was talking to the wife one night, and came up with this deal. And I said, "You know what? I want to build a pub." She's like, "No, you got enough fire. You got enough iron to the fire." I'm like, "But babe, I'm going to build it at the house. You know, in the backyard. You know, it's going to be really cool." And I said, "We're going to call it the Drunken Frog."
I like that.
So, the reason that we did this is because we have a swimming pool in the backyard, and come springtime when the pool's open, it's full of frogs.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So I'm like, perfect, you know. And I might have been drinking a little bit. You know? So I'm going to build an Irish pub. So it was going to be the world's most exclusive pub, and nobody's going to know where it's at.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Because it's in my yard. So, so I'm talking to, I got, 7 real close people to me, and I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, people's going to wonder where this is at.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, tell them that you was too drunk whenever you left. So you don't know. You know?
You don't remember.
And I have this alley next to my house, and I was going to make it like a, speakeasy where you have to walk down the alley and stuff. And so I started making shirts, ashtrays, cigar cutters, all that stuff. And so I have a guy with Dapper Cigar Company that's actually coming out with a Drunken Frog cigar.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is built, and so we put a social media pages together. Then I started getting emails and messages like, "Where's this at? We got to see it.
Right.
We can't find it on the map. And I started selling T-shirts and all the stuff, the cutters and stuff.
Yeah.
And they would go different places and out of PO boxes. No one still knows where it's at. So, but anyways, I got into Irish whiskeys a lot, and I thought to myself, I got to have a pub.
Yeah, why not?
But I really just need a pub just to store all my whiskey because the wife's getting tired of it.
Yeah.
Tons of whiskey. We have this big buffet in the dining room, and it's full of whiskey and cigars. You're somewhere to go. You know,
that's kind of.
So
I've lucked out so far. My fiance, she's been. We've got the whole alcohol collection out in the living room right now, and she seems to be okay with it for now. And I'm curious to see how long that lasts. I think this place it matches the vibe, but we'll see what our next place, whenever we move, what that's going to look like.
I've had to move my collection to the office, and I've outgrown the shelf that I have. So it's like some bottles, like some like secondary. Like some bottles that I have seconds of, or like tucked in like cabinets, or like in the like closet or whatnot.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's always been the joke that Kevin and I have had for a while. Is like one day is to just like buy some shitty old building somewhere, and then just like put a keypad lock on it, like a keypad lock on it, and like just make it a speakeasy just for us, and just to keep all our shit there, and like it just be a place to go hang out.
And Clyde's already got this.
Yeah, exactly. I got you. Just let me build it. But man, speaking of that, like building with a keypad, there's a guy that's in the cigar industry. Man, this dude's cool. His name's Island Jim. And he's from...
That's a cool guy name.
Yeah. Oh, man, this dude travels all over in a yellow Hummer. He's wild. But Island Jim Cigars. But he's out of Pennsylvania. What he did was 10 years ago, he started buying up all these empty houses. And there's a lot of 2-story kind of Victorian homes. He'd build them, run down, and rebuild them. They're all private cigar clubs. So he put lockers in all of these houses, and they have their own keypad, and then they have a monthly fee that they pay, membership fee. And it's like everybody's own private stuff.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
so that's kind of cool.
Super
Yeah.
cool.
So you could do something like that and get a membership.
Tell you what, but we've always just talked about, just like some random building somewhere and just like.
This kind of stuff is the only reason we got into business.
For real.
Exactly.
We just where are we going? Like you just like some sketchy part of downtown. You got like a garage door open. It opens like a barbed wire fence. You like pull in and there's just like a keypad. And you go in and it's like a cool fucking little speakeasy. It's
Exactly.
so cool.
No,
it's like not open to the public or anything.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest part. Is like it's like not like because there's obviously tons of like trendy speakeasy kinds of places, but legitimately make it private. Like one of those, like I don't make that kind of money now, but
right.
But eventually, to be able to have it to where it's like we don't need this thing to make money. This is just like we pay this from our own income.
Yeah, but this thing doesn't have a business license. This is just where we hang out.
Not to talk shit, but I mean, there's not too many speakeasies that's even should be called speakeasy.
Yeah, right.
Like you'll go in there and there's 60-inch TVs on the wall and stuff like watching sports. Like, well, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
That's not the vibe.
Right.
So something cool like that to where it's just blocked off to everything. It looks terrible from the outside.
Yeah, well,
you walk in, it's really old and cool.
There's one that's really cool in Springfield, Missouri, which is where Kevin and I went to college and where I grew up. And it's down. I don't remember what street it's on, but anyways, downtown Springfield, and you walk into this old barbershop, and it is like you literally go up to like one of the coat hooks, and you pull the coat hook, and it opens a door.
Is it called Fidel's?
I don't know. I don't think it might be.
There is a old barbershop in Springfield that you walk in, and you walk through the back of it, and there's a bar.
Well, then maybe
this guy knows everything.
Tell you what, and you you go downstairs, and it's like
nosy.
Super unfinished look to it. It's like exposed ceilings, and it looks like a real speakeasy. Like you would never know it was there.
So in Vegas, I'm a lifetime member at the Mafia Museum out there. By the way, I love it out there. But they built a speakeasy in the basement, and it's really cool. So if you take the tour inside of that, it's an old courthouse. Actually, the Las Vegas courthouse that they convicted a lot of these Mafia members.
Yeah,
really cool. But you walk downstairs and you walk through this distillery, and it's Al Capone's stills that they confiscated from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Cool. Yeah.
That's actually working that you can buy moonshine out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But whenever you walk through there, they have a whole speakeasy.
Yeah.
It's in there. Really cool. So it looks like the 20s. And then they have live performers there that plays old jazz and stuff. Yeah. In the bar, they have a Tommy gun sunk into the bar. Like, it's really cool. So if you're ever in Vegas party, go to the Mob Museum. It's cool.
I remember
Sounds awesome.
I don't know if it's still there or not, but Fedora's in Springfield was a big one. And it was really, and it was a private kind of place. And it was a fraternity brother alumni that owned Fedora's, is it Fedora's upstairs and the Red Room downstairs is what it was.
Yeah.
And it was private. And because we knew the guy that owned it, we got invited every once in a while.
There's like the front door to the bar, but you had to go to the alleyway and knock on the door. It was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Thing's ruined now.
Well,
you walk in and there's a staircase, like just an open staircase.
Yeah. You got to make your speakeasy smoking.
Yeah,
we got to be able to smoke cigars in here.
Right.
We don't want to be real.
Right.
Yeah. No, if you can't do that, scrap it and start over.
Yeah, exactly. But talking about whiskey, people walk in the house like, oh my God, a lot of whiskey. They think you're an alcoholic. It sucks, because you might be able to drink once a week or something.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit, but yeah.
That is my, I think my fiance's parents, they know me well enough now, but I think they were a little nervous when they saw the album. They were like,
this dude's on one
because it's
all the
like,
time.
I've got 2 big bookshelves just covered in stuff. Yeah.
Oh, man,
and it's like, and I'm like, they're like, oh, this is a lot. And I'm like, and the thing that's funny is I swear the only time I have a drink anymore is sitting here on the podcast.
Never finished a bottle.
Yeah, I've never finished a bottle. Like
I bottle killed a couple and that's it.
Yeah, it's just little random cheap stuff that I've found replacements for, but it's anything nice. I was realizing the other day, my buddy Frank came over, and he was like, they'd gone to a nice dinner, and they came over, and I was after like a pretty long shift, and he came over, and I was like, hey, you want like something to drink? And he's like, yeah, let's have a whiskey. And I'm like, what you feeling? And he's like, I don't know, like, man, I think I'd be down for some scotch. And he's like, what's this? And he points at like the Glen 18 that I have sitting up there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's a pretty nice one. And he's like, oh no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck it. I don't
Yeah.
care. Let's drink it.
That's
Like,
What else am I going to
for.
drink
right.
it?
And I started thinking about it. The last time I drank that was when Tim Feldman was in town at our old house. Like when
Oh.
we lived together. That's like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like since I've had a sip of it. And I'm like, fuck it. Let's have it. I don't care. You want another one? Like,
It's crazy, man. Talking about scotch, I got to drink some really expensive scotch.
Mhm.
And luckily I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah,
But,
right.
So
Yeah, how expensive are we talking?
Okay, so do you know? I guess it's Stag Lounge downtown. It used to be Whiskey Lounge years
Mhm.
ago before it changed ownerships, and I was kind of involved with that because of the cigar shop.
Yep.
And that guy that did the scotch, he had Macallan 1974, 1978, 1981. So it's a flight that's $1,800 for 3 ounces.
Ugh.
So this flight originally cost like,
Speaking of which,
I don't know.
Yeah, you guys want to do a quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should also probably introduce you.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Well, a little cheers. Cheers. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, this smells delicious.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So, let me tell you. So, I brought cigars. Are
Also, this is Clyde.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah. My name's Clyde.
Yeah.
Um,
Before you get too far into this, we're going to need to introduce you or we're going to forget. This is Clyde Percy. He is obviously knows everything about everything. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He owns a cigar shop, Second Street Cigars up in Edmond.
Yeah, man.
And I'm not even going to, I would love it for you to brag a little bit just because I know you've got a whole list of things that make you cool.
Oh, yeah.
And so I couldn't even begin. But you've told me about how you're one of the few master this and master that. And
Yeah.
it's like, and what's cool is like, you've obviously done a lot of really cool things and obviously have big interests and passions. And when you have passions, you chase after them
Yeah.
heavy. And, but I am truly like in awe sometimes listening to you talk about certain things. So please indulge a little bit on like, on yourself real fast before we get into these and, tell me a couple of things about, you obviously know your cigars. So tell me a little bit.
So, I'm one of the owners of Second Street Cigars in Edmond. I've been in the industry, solid in the industry, probably around 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm one of a few certified tobacconists. I hand roll cigars. I'm one of the only rollers in Oklahoma that hand roll
Yeah.
cigars. I think there's only a couple of us. I learned to do that. I have one of the biggest small batch collections, probably in the Midwest,
Yeah.
not only in the state. I have a handful of cigars. It's less than five of us in the U.S. that has.
Wow.
Yeah, so really, really into small batch and boutique cigars,
Yeah.
and did a lot of research. And you know, a lot of these small batch cigars, you know, they don't do well in a lot of places, but they do great at the shop because that's what me and my guys smoke.
Yeah,
so
right.
we know the small batch cigars,
Yes.
and so I love the industry, and it's really weird how it all happened.
Sure.
So a little bit of background. I built classic cars my entire life. I mean, I'm telling you from 15 years old on.
Mhm.
My dad did it probably 55 years now.
Wow.
And so I realized early on, look, I'm not going to have a lot of money, so I need to learn how to build cool cars so I can have cool cars at least. You know?
Yeah, right.
And so I started early on learning. But my old man would never teach me paint and body work and building cars. So when I was probably, I really want to say like 9 or 10 years old, he said, you have to learn mechanics first before I'll ever teach you. Well, he knew how to do mechanics and car motors and built car motors. So right directly across the street from my house growing up was a friend of mine, and he was about 3 years older, but his dad was an auto mechanic. Really, really good in a little 2-car garage. So my little 10-year-old self walks over here and says, you know, Clayton, I need to learn mechanics, you know, and he's like, why? Like, my dad won't tell me how to build cars, until I learn. He pulls a stool to the side and he said, just watch me. I want to tell you something. For probably the next 3 years, every day after school, I didn't play. I went over there and I learned how to work on motors.
Wow.
And so that ended up being, and this is what my dad started teaching me. So I was 12 years old. There's a place downtown Oklahoma City, engine shop, Buddy Rice. They used to have these contests to where 6 of the best engine builders, and we're talking these guys have 20 years experience, 6 of the best engine builders do a contest to build an engine. And like I said, I'm 12 years old. You got to do it blindfolded. You got to fill the bolts. You got, you don't have to do any of the major stuff, but you got to put this motor together. Well, they had 5 people, and me and the old man was there, and my dad was there, and said, hey, let him enter. And I'm thinking that the old man's going to enter. He's like, no, you. I'm 12 years old. What am I going to do,
Yeah.
And I did it. And I won.
Yeah. At 12 years old.
Yes. Now, so it freaked me out too. Like, because these guys are very, very experienced,
Yeah. Literally been doing it longer.
That's the time. Yeah, exactly. So that's the time my dad realized, oh shit, he might know his stuff, So let me teach him a little bit more. So I started staying out in the shop with my dad. And man, he was part of this place called Corvette Concepts years ago in Wheatland. So he cut his teeth on Corvettes and, Tri-5 Chevys and just really cool cars, old muscle cars and stuff. So I was into muscle cars. I never really got into Corvettes too much because, they was always around.
Yeah, sure.
Which I know now.
Yeah.
I should have paid attention, because we had some really old stuff. But we got into it. My first car, he bought me 15 years old. And that's what did it. After I got that car, I was full on into the paint and body game. I just want to learn everything. First car was 72 GTO convertible. So my dad tells me, he's like, oh boy, I bought you this car. Let's go see it. It's at this truck salvage. We're walking up from the back. I'm like, oh shit, it's convertible. This is GTO. This is going to be awesome. I walk around to the front and it's smashed hard. And I told Dad, I was like, oh, it's a piece of shit. Like, what are we going to do, And he's like, son, we're going to fix it. And so I got it home, tore it all apart, still started. I was golden,
Yeah.
So that car made me so hooked on paint and body. So I just continued through the years. Well, as I went along, I realized I was really OCD with cars. Like I really picky, So I would build these cars and I'd put them on these rotisseries and just top to bottom build these cars. To the point that I started getting in magazines. Mm-hmm. And I never planned on that. Mm-hmm. And I did that for, up to about 8 years ago. And, I just got so overwhelmed and it became a job to where I'm there 14, 16 hours a day, not seeing my kids, not seeing the wife. And through all this, boy, she was supportive. Because we knew each other, hell, since we were kids, But, one morning, I just had enough, man, and I went to the shop. It was hot. It was terrible. It was like probably 117 in the shop. Right. I went to the cigar shop, got me some cigars, and it said hiring. I'm thinking, man, what if? And then I left. I'm sitting on a milk carton at the shop smoking cigars. I'm like, this is bullshit. So I called the wife and I said, what do you think if I got a job to get in the AC for the summer at a cigar shop, and she already knows I'm wild or whatever. She do whatever, Yeah. So I went down there. They hired me immediately, and I stayed there. And that's how I got involved with all the whiskey stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot there, met a lot of good people. Well, one of the members, my business partner, he was one of the members down there. Well, at the time, I had enough, man. I thought I probably need to go back to the body shop and build cars. Well, he was wanting to open a shop, and I told him at first, no, I don't want to, man. I'm gonna go back to cars. Well, he already had the building. Like he was going to open a shop, but he needed me, and so that's whenever we started Second Street, and then I just stayed with it. But when I started, I really didn't understand the industry a whole lot. But as I went along and became a tobacconist and started learning a lot more about it, I fell in love with it.
Sure.
And as time went on and Second Street goes by, I've met some of the best people I ever have in my life through this. And the coolest thing is, I always tell these people this little story, man. I had this, at the time you could smoke at 18. And I had this 18-year-old kid come in on his birthday. And the lounge is pretty empty. We have, I think, like 3 or 4 guys sitting on one side of the wall. And this kid sitting there, and I sat down to smoke with him, kind of talking through how to cut a cigar and all that stuff. And he said, man, you know, this is really cool. It's really sophisticated. These guys are in suits. I said, I want to tell you something. I said, I know those guys over there. I said, between those 4, they're probably worth about 200 or 300 million. And he's like, what? And I'm like, but you know what? They don't give a shit. Like, we're just like them. I said, that's the best thing about cigars. It brings people together. No one cares what you do. You could be a roofer, a plumber, a lawyer. No one cares, man. We like the camaraderie.
Yeah.
And you could sit there amongst people like that, meet some of those people, have good connections, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
And man, that's one of the greatest things, you know. Anytime that you could sit down for an hour, kind of escape the bullshit outside, you know, going on and just kind of relax and get it together. Hey, man, really, that's worth it, you know. And, you know, I get women in there all the time. Well, not only women, you know, men too, but I get people in there all the time. Oh, it's so unhealthy. Look, I can't tell you it's healthy. It's not.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely 100% organic. There is 0 chemicals, you know. It's been proven numerous times that nicotine is not a cancer-causing property. It's the stuff they put with it, you know. So it's the cleanest form of smoking. Yeah, and then all those, obviously, you're not inhaling all that stuff. So I tell people, man, you know, it is cool to get into it because 1, the camaraderie of it. 2, if you are going to smoke, at least you're a little bit healthier than the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, sure.
And 3, it lowers blood pressure. Come on. It's great, you know. So
the way you talk about it makes me realize like how much I was looking forward to sitting down here tonight because my daughter was born about 2.5 months ago. So it's just been constantly working, sleeping crazy hours, like never getting a moment to sit down and just relax. And my wife, Alyssa, was extremely gracious by taking the baby tonight. My sister's over there helping just to make sure everything goes smoothly. And then she isn't overwhelmed the whole evening. But being able to sit down and enjoy a glass of whiskey and a cigar with you guys, I've been
conversation.
I haven't gotten to do this in a long time, and I've been really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Speaking of cigars,
so you've been getting me amped about these cigars now. You've been talking about these, and I've been getting real excited.
So, these are Opus X Arturo Fuente, the 1992 Del Chateau.
I thought these were 92, yeah.
So, little story about it. So, there's only 300 acres that Opus X tobacco is grown in Dominican Republic. Del Cibao or something valley that is in. And so, years ago, old man Fuente, he was a Cuban. He was a Cuban roller, growed Cuban tobacco. Well, obviously, when Castro took over, everybody wanted to get the hell out of there. You know, that man messed everything up for tobacco, or for the whole country, you know. But a lot of these guys fled. Some went to Nicaragua, some went to Honduras, Costa Rica, and Dominican Republic. The problem was they couldn't get tobacco to grow in Dominican Republic good. So the Fuente family is absolutely the main people that's ever had, or I'll say that originated Dominican tobacco. Because what they did was they tried different wrappers for cigars, and they finally ended up growing a Corojo wrapper under this shade cloth. And under this shade cloth, it didn't have direct sunlight because they was realizing that in Dominican Republic, it was just cooking the tobacco. So you couldn't get good flavor out of it. And so they put it under this shade cloth so it's kind of like cloud grown, cloud grown, shade grown. Yeah. And that Corojo wrapper did it, and that was what originated. So in 94 is when they started. And in 95 is when they finally released the Opus. Problem is, Opus X's, he only releases them a few times a year because of very minimal amount of tobacco. So whenever you think about, 300 acres of tobacco, think that's a lot of tobacco, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then all Opus cigars are aged about 6 years before they're ever put out on the market. So
6 years on a cigar.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
this particular cigar right here is 13 years old.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
This cigar could win an engine building competition.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I seen the whiskey. I'm like, okay, so that whiskey, obviously you can taste the vanilla tannins in it, and you can get a hint of leather. This cigar is known for leather. So, and it's known for spice. So if you compare, I have guys come in all the time, and this is another thing our shop's popular for. Me and my 3 guys that's there, 4, amazing. Like they know their stuff. And I got one guy that is a whiskey encyclopedia. I have one guy that knows wine like crazy, knows crazy beers. And then the other guys, they just smoke a lot of cigars. But the thing is I'll have people come in all the time. They'll say, fix me up with, medium body cigar. I'm like, hold on. What are you going to drink? If you tell me you're going to drink a Old Forester 1920, there's a handful of cigars.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to drink Buffalo Trace, handful of cigars.
Yeah.
Anything that is 95 and below ABV normally has a lot of vanilla tannins, like your Eagle Rares,
Yeah, sure.
like your Buffalo Trace. And then, so it's very odd for something that's hot like this to have a lot of that vanilla.
Yeah.
But you will catch a lot more of the oak, and you'll catch a lot more of the spice. So anything that's 96 and above ABV, you really need something that's a little bit more full bodied. Not obviously full strength, but more full bodied.
Yeah.
Because you want your whiskey to complement your cigar, not overpower your cigar. That's why I picked this.
Wow.
I'm so glad I sent a
shit.
picture of that,
Yeah,
that bottle to you beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of thought that went into this pairing.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
It reminds me of when I met James for the first time, and I was talking to him because we were doing the podcast, and I was like, you know what, we're going to do something different on the podcast. And I grabbed a couple bottles of wine, and he's like, well, all right. He's like, you heading over there now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm heading over there now. And he's like, you going to eat? And I said, yeah, I'll probably eat something here before we do it. And he's like, well, what are you going to eat? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably going to eat Brahms grilled chicken sandwich. And he goes, oh, this one then.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Grilled chicken sandwich.
It's crazy.
This one pairs nicely with the Brahms grilled chicken.
Hey, what you drink, what you eat, even the setting that you're in. So what's crazy is you can smoke this right now. We're going to smoke this. You can smoke the same one on your porch tomorrow, and it's 2 different cigars. You can smoke this with coffee in the morning, at lunch with tea, and then in the evening with whiskey. That's 3 different cigars. It's nuts.
That's my fault for not explaining that we would be in the back of the warehouse, not the front, with the
Yeah.
garage door up about 2.5 feet.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Perfect. Hey, we're looking out for the baby, trust me.
This is a front. This is a front of this freaking warehouse cigar. You know better.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. We couldn't have smoked in the store, really?
Yeah, dude.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry, he's an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that happens, man. There's always one in a bunch.
How would you recommend? Is there any way that you'd recommend to cut the cigar?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to break.
Well,
I'm going to ruin it.
And that's another thing. A lot of people ask, punching cigars, V-cutting cigars, flat cutting cigars. Here's my take. Certain cigars, if you punch it, there's oils in the leaves. So I never recommend a punch unless you punch 2 holes in it, especially if all you have is a punch. Don't worry about it, punch 2 holes. Because what happens is once the oils heat up in that cigar and you're having to suck on a little bit harder, you can eventually get a tar buildup at the back. And trust me, you got to throw it away. You're not getting a taste out of your mouth. It is the worst. So it's done. So V-cut, they never talk about it in this industry. But I want to tell you, a V-cut, the way that it's shaped, so it's supposed to kind of roll to where the smoke rolls off. And then you get the taste buds on the saliva part at the back, or the smoke back there at the back, and then kind of make the mouth water a little bit. But people really think that it's just so you don't get a bunch of loose tobacco.
Yeah, this behemoth one time, I saw him just bite a cigar.
You got to do what you got to do, man. We got to get to it,
Yeah.
And then, but I normally myself just flat cut. And the reason is, 1, it keeps the cigar cool. 2, you always have pretty good draw. But the downfall is you might get a little bit of loose tobacco in your mouth that you spit out or whatever, People still freaked out about COVID, so, I was spitting tobacco all over people. but and also
That's how they say it's spread.
exactly. So also, and I get this all the time. People cut too much off cigars. So my shop cutter, I had made with it what they call a closed back on. So you can't butt it in, but just so far, and it shaves it. So if you look at the top of that cigar, those lines around that cigar, that's the cap. So that's actually held together by fruit glue. Mm-hmm. So you'll see, especially in movies, they'll chop an inch of it off.
Yeah.
What happens is you ever go below that and it starts unraveling. So all you ever want to do is just barely shave the top.
Makes sense because you're getting past the glue, getting past things holding together.
Yeah. Exactly. So all you ever want to do is you just take the top of it, about a dime's worth, and just barely shave the top of it. Okay. To expose it. So you want as much as that curve on there as you can. So I don't know if anyone's ever told you that.
No.
We are
not even close.
We are beginners, at least compared to you.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's perfect. Yeah, but all you got to do is just barely shave that top and expose the tobacco.
We got all sorts of cutters and
using the brass knuckles.
Yeah,
perfect.
Why not?
Yeah, Clyde brought us by a set of brass knuckle cigar cutters. So.
I got them fixed up with ashtray and lighters and everything. We never know.
If you ever find yourself saying "Why I oughta," this is the product for you.
Yeah. Perfect.
I think that's
perfect. Yep.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Freaking painting in front of Da Vinci here. So,
but and I V-cut too. Whatever's close, I use it.
Sure, no, I get that.
But my biggest deal is punches. They just they're not the
I didn't
greatest.
know. Yeah, I had no idea. Okay, then we'll watch them light it.
Okay, so
gosh, we each got our own ashtray now. This is nice.
Huh. We got to. If there's one person to go all out on cigars with,
we have to. Come on, man.
Oh, there you go.
We're
That's
not
smart.
a fly-by-night operation out here.
Tell you
we're at
what,
the back
dude.
by the garage door.
That's right.
So they always talk about toasting the cigar. So basically what you're doing, you're kind of like you're stoking a fire. So especially like in pipe smoking. So you're heating this up right here, and you're kind of heating the filler and the binder and then the edge of this wrapper, because the wrapper is the thinnest part anyways.
Everybody better be taking notes.
I wish we could zoom in on the video on this one. Ryan?
I'm zoomed in.
Ryan, if you're listening.
So you'll sit there, he's kind of twisted around, then and then you'll just kind of twist it whenever you're lighting it to try to get it, red hot all the way around it. That's it.
Easy enough.
Oh, fuck.
I brought a couple of lighters. I don't know if these are working right now.
Whenever they get cold, they won't. Once they warm up, they'll light. And then here's another one. So out of this cigar, real quick, these magazines suck. I just got to say it, like these cigar magazines. But they are good and so kind of way.
That one.
So I tell people all the time. So everybody don't have a palate. It's not ready to go. Pull that down and hold it, and then click it and see if it'll do it. Yeah, there you go.
Amateur.
I don't know I really don't know what I did differently.
But a lot of these magazines, they'll sit here and they'll say, "Oh, this cigar is a 98 rating or 96 rating." Well, that's what you think.
Yeah, right.
So everybody's different. But what I do like, and especially people that's just starting out, look at some of these magazines because your palate's not, the greatest. But you might see this that says, well, you're going to get notes of fig, you're going to get notes of cedar. I know it's suggestive when you read it. But what happens is, or if you're on your porch, Google that cigar and just kind of see what people say about it and tasting notes. Same thing with whiskey. Because what happens is as you're smoking it and you say, okay, well, he's saying it tastes like fig or whatever, you're kind of getting a little bit of that.
Yeah, right.
So that's the good thing about the magazine. And then as you go and you smoke cigars and you're reading this stuff, now if they say, okay, well, you're going to get a cedar note or an earthy note. Well, as you're smoking it, now you know what they're talking about. Yeah. So that helps build your palate.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
Yeah. But out of this one, as we go, it's almost like, and there's no added flavors, but the way that they ferment it and age it, it's crazy. But you're going to get more kind of a cinnamon hint you're going to get an oaky hint, and you're going to get kind of a dirt flavor. And I know it don't sound great, but it is great.
Yeah. Now what's the whole ashing rule?
So you'll have people that sit here and they'll smoke them. They'll get a real big long ash on it, and they try to keep it as long as you can or whatever, you know. I tell people, man, this stuff's going to fall on you. You know? So once it comes back a little bit, you know, you can just kind of tap an ashtray. So on a cigar, if you smoke it too fast, obviously the wrapper is going to burn back and you're going to get a real heavy point to it. The goal of it, and just like right now, so it's kind of burning off, the goal of it is to keep it even. So when it starts burning off like this, you can kind of let it catch up itself, or you can take the torch and just kind of burn around it where it's a little bit longer, and it'll catch up. And I tell people, man, just don't overthink it, just smoke it.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And but speaking of long ashes, there's actually contests for long ashes. You know, and
is that the Joe Dirt contest?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's slow smoking competitions. I went to a couple of them, and they give you everyone the same cigar, same size, and you got to see how long before it goes out that you can keep it lit. And man, I got a Corona, which is a 6x46 ring gauge. Normally, it's an hour-long cigar. I smoked it for 2 hours and 46 minutes before it went out on me. Yeah. But I didn't win. The guy that won was like 3 hours and 12 minutes or something.
Jeez Louise.
Nuts. I mean, he really babied it.
The bourbon tastes different now too.
It definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like I taste the notes like more now. Like they're more prominent.
You know, tobacco, just as a whole, the way that, like I said, they cure it, they ferment it, they age it, all has that kind of same note. You know, I mean, a lot of this stuff, they age them. Certain cigars in some of the whiskey barrels, like, you know, they have Buffalo Trace cigars and Cody Weller cigars and stuff like that. What they're doing is they're
taking
taking
the Pappy cigars.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're taking the binder of that cigar and fermenting in those barrels like that. It really all just kind of goes together.
Yeah,
I got a beard oil that smells like that. That's another thing I probably never told you. So I actually have a beard oil company. Yeah,
you should be plugging all these companies. Yeah. We need to know the names.
Yeah, Gentleman's Classic Grooming Company. But in 2015, I think it's 2015, I was buying beard oil. I started letting my beard grow out. I'm like, why in the hell is these beard oils like $24 for this 1 ounce of beard oil? You know, like it can't be that hard to make and can't be that expensive. And so my mind starts racing, and I set off to make beard oil and learn how to do it, you know, and created a whole company. But I never released it until like 2017 because I was so picky.
Yeah.
Like I needed the label right. I needed, you know, black bottles only, you know, all this stuff.
Sure.
And by the way, I need to just bring you some since you got a beard. The wife, she approves because, you know, I'll go home smelling like cigars and beard smelling like cigars. I could throw some of that beard oil on, especially tobacco vanilla. She don't smell nothing. She's like, oh, that's amazing. You know, I've been smoking all day. You know?
Yeah, right.
But it also makes your stuff soft, you know.
Sure.
But what I realized is people was using just mediocre products inside these beard oils.
Yeah.
And perfumes and stuff like that, you know. So it is 100% all natural. I use like Young Living essential oils and all kinds of different oils that's pure. And man, people love it.
Yeah.
I'll bring y'all some. You got to try it.
All right.
But
you're right, though. Sorry to cut you off. But the whiskey the sweetness of the whiskey is coming through.
Yeah, it tasted sweeter.
Yeah.
Almost kind of syrupy.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy at 110 proof too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, it's smooth for 110.
Yeah. This cigar, I know it's going to only so typically I feel like, again, as more of a beginner, I usually start to really enjoy a cigar like as it kind of burns down a little bit. Maybe gets like 2/3, like 3/4, 2/3 of the way down.
Yeah.
Is where I really start to, is that real, or am I just making that up in my head?
No. So, that's the complexity of a cigar. So old Cuban cigars, and people love Cubans. By the way, they're not all that. I mean, you know, most of your Cubans are fake anyways, but they're fake more than Nike, you know.
Yeah.
But the deal is, so Cuban tobacco most of the time is the same tobacco out of the same field. So you have a plant, and you have levels of this plant. The Viso, the Seco, the Velado, the Ligero, different stuff like this. What they're doing is, out of this field, they're using the same tobacco in the cigar. So as you're smoking it from the front to the back, it never changes. So some of the best stuff, really, man, and not to knock anything, is really Nicaraguan tobacco. It's some of the richest tobacco. I love Dominican tobacco, Honduran, Costa Rican, Mexican tobacco. But what they do is, you might get just wrapper out of one field, and you might get filler from a completely different field, from a different supplier, and then same thing with binder. So what they do is, obviously not growing from the same plant, it's going to have complexability. And the way that you pull those leaves apart whenever you roll it, like your filler and your binder, this first third is going to change to that second half, and then the last third is going to be different. But normally, I have found that last third, it gets really good, but you get a lot of those oils that you've been sucking through. Mm-hmm. So at the very back, sometimes it gets bitter depending on the cigar. But, and another thing too, and you don't realize this, like you'll see a lot of these guys smoking really big ring gauge cigars. First off, it looks awkward, but I'm not.
What do you mean?
My mouth is not set up for that. But so what happens is they do it because they're getting more cigar for the money. But in all reality, they're not even getting half the flavor. Now there's a lot of good blenders out there that can blend a good big ring gauge cigar. But here's the deal. Most of your flavors are wrapper of the cigar. That is the icing on the cake. So your filler and binder is just much stuff they put in there. And like I said, your flavor from that wrapper. So the smaller the ring gauge of cigar, the more flavor you're going to get.
That makes sense.
So I'm a Lancero nut. I have a huge collection of Lanceros. Lanceros is like bigger than a number 2 pencil, barely, like 40 ring gauge, 42 ring gauge. And, they call them connoisseur cigars. Only problem is you really have to know how to smoke them, because if they go out too much, it defeats purpose. If you get them too hot, it defeats purpose. So you really got to sit down. But this particular cigar right here is a 6.5 by 49 Churchill size. So I like some Churchills, but some's just a little bit overwhelming. But the way that this cigar was made and the age on that cigar, man, it's unreal.
Yeah, this is starting to get really good.
Yeah.
Thomas, could you pop the garage door open just a little bit more?
We getting hot?
I just want to make sure smoke's pouring out.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
Yeah, this is very good. I'm excited as it kind of goes down to really.
Well, and that the longer that they age, not all cigars. Like some of your lighter cigars, like your Connecticut's and stuff like that, they don't age for a lot of years. People think that, Cubans, they talk, I got pre-embargo Cubans. Well, they're going to taste like notebook paper. There's nothing there left, But some of these cigars age really well, especially some of your darker Maduros and stuff. Man, they'll age forever as long as you keep your humidity right and stuff. Yeah. But like this one right here, once it gets to about, I don't know, man, 15 years, 20 years, you're going to start losing a lot of that flavor. It's got a Corojo wrapper, which is really good wrapper, but you start losing a little bit of that.
So kind of like a wine or like even a bourbon, where like you kind of get past the point of like a bourbon will get like overly oaky, or like wine gets past its prime.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, and another thing too, man, is like I tell people all the time, customers, whatever, I got this collection of cigars, and I got some really rare stuff. You don't want to smoke them. Smoke that shit.
Right.
Because here's the deal. First off, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. But second, man, enjoy it while you can. Because that cigar, it can go flat, or lose flavor. But smoke it.
Yeah, or you don't realize your humidity's off because you haven't touched your humidity, your humidor in a while. And then you're like, oh, cool, ruined all these.
Well, for anyone listening, I'm going to go ahead and say it. For years, they beat it in our heads, got to be at 70% humidity and 70 degrees. That's a load of shit. Do not do that. Because the thing is, you need the cigars to dry just a little bit to let the oils kind of crystallize to kind of start the aging process. So you can talk to a lot of these guys in this industry, especially. So the guy that created these cigars is Carlito Fuente. He owns Arturo Fuente Cigars. He'll tell you, like these Opuses, about 66% humidity, 67. Like my humidor at the house, I keep it on 67. You know, and as long as it don't get above, 70 on temperature, you're good.
Yeah.
So these people is storing this stuff at 70 and 70. Stop. All you're doing is just making a cigar. Because if those oils are hot or wet, if those oils are wet and then you light it and heat it up, well, it just makes the oils runny. And then there again, you'll get
too much buildup.
Yeah.
Where if they've crystallized, then as the cigar burns, they get hot, they start to, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a cigar can dry out though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you really don't want it below 65%. I mean, once it, and there again, if you got some old cigars and they dried out, you can bring the humidity back to where you can smoke them, but they're not going to be the same. The flavors are going to be gone.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have your humidor? Do you have like an electronically set? Because I have one that I have to just put the, I don't know what you call them, but the little plastic with water in them kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's funny because mine has a humidity gauge on it, and it says, I think it's 69. It says ideal on the gauge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to bring that down a little bit.
The thing is especially those little plastic pucks or whatever got the beads in them, toss them. Okay. The stuff that's on the market now, Boveda makes these humidity packets.
Yeah.
Ideal.
Yeah.
The food industry uses them now. Cool story about them. They were created for Fender guitars.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yep. The guy at Fender needed humidity
That's
packets.
what we always do whenever we're we'll go pick up. We haven't done it in a while, but we'll have friends who come and visit or whatever. We're sending somebody a gift. We'll send them some cigars, and we'll throw those
the little packets.
Yeah, those packets in it, and then when we ship them,
they last a decent while too.
They do,
right?
yeah,
they do. Well, and they make them different sizes now, but man, really, that's ideal because it's a two-way packet. So you got to think if your house is over humidified, your humidor is over humidified. If it's dry in your house, it's dry. But these packets work both ways. So if it's over humidified, it actually pulls moisture back into that packet.
So
it
regulates both ways.
Yeah, so it's ideal. So I always tell people if you got those little pucks, just get rid of them and get the
That's interesting because I have those packets, but I thought the pucks were a little bit more of a long-term solution, but the packets are actually better. Interesting.
And then you'll get some of those pucks that have that green foam in it. That's what they put those fake flyers in. That stuff will mold eventually.
Okay, so I think that's what I have is the little green foam.
Yeah.
And I think I can kind of see in the little vent slots
get rid of that.
Go with the packets.
Yeah. So you really don't need electronic humidity until you get a big humidor. Those packets do. I tell you what, man. I have plastic tubs. We call them tubadors, but they're just plastic tubs with a sealed lid with those humidity packets in it.
Yeah.
Another thing, wooden humidors, they're bullshit.
Really?
I have
they look
people.
Nice.
Yeah, they do. So I have people come in all the time and say, I'd like a Spanish cedar humidor. One, it's not Spanish or cedar, it's mahogany. there's not a Spanish cedar. Two, it sucks in all the moisture that it can. Okay. And if you don't have enough cigars in there, if it's not full, then it just pulls moisture out of cigars. No matter what humidity you put in it, it's going to keep drying it out. Now, if the humidor is 3/4 full or full, then it kind of works off each other. So I tell people, quit overthinking it. Get a plastic Tupperware tub and a humidity packet because plastic don't suck in moisture.
Right.
So you throw your cigars in a plastic tub and it works. Now, it ain't cute like a little wooden humidor.
Yeah, right.
But so I tell people, it's okay. So get a plastic Tupperware, the same size as your humidor. Start collecting cigars. After you fill it up, then transfer it over.
Yeah.
And then you can have your wooden humidor. But you keep pulling cigars out of it, just keeps dropping humidity.
Yeah.
So wooden humidors are for collecting cigars, storing cigars for long periods of time. Because another thing too is, they say, well, I got a really nice Spanish cedar humidor and I like the flavor it don't change the flavor of cigar. It does not. It would take 7-8 years for it to change the flavor. I mean, it's not. So you're not going to get that out of it. So you got to protect your investment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'll tell you little story. So the wife, we had this little coat closet in front of our house, you know, and it's about, I don't know, 5 foot, 4 or 5 foot inside this closet, you know, tall. And man, it always had jackets in it. We never wore. You know?
Yeah, right.
And
classic.
Like 3 vacuum cleaners.
Yeah,
know?
right.
And we didn't use none of them. So she told me one day she wanted it cleaned out. So all right, I got you. So I cleaned it out. And I built a humidor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filled it right back
yeah,
up.
She came in one day. She's like, really?
Yeah.
And, but I tell you what I've done. So the humidor at the shop, I put the Spanish cedar paneling on it. One for the smell. Cause like whenever you walk in, it's an experience to walk in a big walk-in humidor and kind of smell that wood, you know, get you just, it takes you back. Well, I put plastic sheeting in my humidor. From March to October, my humidifier never kicked on because it had plastic on the wall, so it didn't suck in no moisture. And I tell people, if you ever get you a humidor, stand up, whatever, put plastic sheeting on the walls.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll last.
Can we talk about how supportive your wife sounds, though?
Yeah.
Bro, look, hey, so check this out. So I'm best friends with her brother, and we went to school 5th grade, me and her brother did. And he's 2 years older than her. Yeah, let's just say 2 years. And I chased her forever. She wouldn't give me time of day. You know? It's crazy. So her brother buys her this little RX-7 or whatever. And she didn't know how to drive it as standard. Okay. Well, she's in high school at this time. Oh, she's cute. You know? And I'm like, you know, hook me up with your sister. And he's like, oh, no, man, you know, leave her alone, whatever. She wouldn't give me time of day, but she kept burning up clutches in this car. She kept trying to drive you. So her brother would call me and say, hey, man, help me put a clutch in this car. You know, well, I'd go put clutches in the car. You know, if it broke down, I'd go help him get it running. And he's telling her he's getting it fixed. This whole time, he ain't saying that. So, I chased her, and then she's got a little story. She said, you know, whenever I got married first time, she's like, she kind of was devastated. She's like, really? You know, he got married and didn't wait for me or whatever. Well, you didn't give me time of day. What do you expect me to do, you know? So it really probably worked out the best. And we've talked about it before because she actually moved to Austin and got out of Oklahoma City for a while. I was married for a little while. It didn't work out on my end. I'm an idiot. So
we all are.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so she came back, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I had a '64 Impala, and she seen this car when I was 16 years old. It was at my grandma's in the shop, and it was on jack stands. And I'm always sanding on it, you know, and it's gray primer, you know, and all this stuff. I got all these big dreams, you know, built this car, and she was always like, the car's never going to be done. Well, she came back, and I went to a party at her brother's house. Well, I'm in that car. Yeah. And we start talking, and she's like, you're shitting me. That's the same car, you know. We start talking, and we actually hung out that night. And, man, it was just really cool how it happened. And I went out a couple times with her and her brother or the family or whatever. And, I mean, we both kind of knew, I think, you know. Yeah. And then she finally gave in to me, you know, and I went and stayed with her. It was great. But the thing is we really clicked because we kind of knew each other and knew each other's background. One reason she didn't give me time of day because I was an idiot as a kid, you know. She's like, "No, I'm not." Maybe for the best. Yeah, I'm not getting involved with you, you know. But she finally gave me a chance, and man, over the years, so I've been with her. She 19 years, I think she said. Now I keep saying 18. She's like 19. my bad. You know, I want you to think it don't seem like long, babe. You know, it really feels like 30. You know, but no, she's great. But she knew early on about the cars. Man, I'm a car nut. I mean, right now I got Impalas growing like weeds in the back pasture. So I always had a lot of cars, motorcycles. I built a lot of motorcycles. I'm building one for her brother right now, and we're going to show them at Daryl Starberg Car Show here in February. But it's crazy because she never bothered me.
Thank you.
Well, once we got together, dude, if I was her, I would have left a million times. I was wild, man. And, I'd be at car shows, and I got in a car club, and we was always traveling with the car club. And, I had to build cars. Hell, I built her a car. I built her a 66 Caprice station wagon. Had the wood grain down the side.
Oh, wow.
Air ride suspension on it, fully chrome plated suspension, fuel injection Corvette motor, all this stuff, And I was with a car club called Good Times Car Club, and they was created in California. Well, Vegas had a super show, lowrider super show. One of the club members at the time kind of dared me to get this car done in time. This car was a bare frame on a rotisserie, and in 55 days, I built this car. Yeah, on a dare, basically. And we got it out to Vegas and showed it, and everything is a blast, man. But yeah, man, she's never really bothered me. So, but here's the thing. Like, people's like, man, you got all these cool cars. You have a big shoe collection and got all these BMX bikes, skateboard. You must have money. No, I'm just bad with money. I just burned through it. I'm broke, but she's always supported everything. But now, the older that we get in life, and we talked about it a million times, it was always material things. And let's all face it, growing up, you don't have no money and you see all this cool stuff and you want it. Well, you get a little bit older, you get a little bit of money. Well, hell, what are you going to do? You want to buy it now.
Right.
So you can have it. So that was my deal is, man, I got a crazy vintage skateboard collection.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah, man. I bet I probably got a little over 100 boards. And they're Santa Cruz, Vision, Pal Peraltas. I mean, really cool boards.
Oh, that's cool. That's before my time.
Man, I still skate.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of skating?
So, man, look, I'm 48 years old, 260 pounds, and I still get on skateboard.
Heck yeah.
And I love it, and it's good exercise. But now I'm a little bit lighter, I enjoyed a lot more back when I was 300 pounds. It was a little rough,
Yeah.
And then old school BMX bikes, freestyle bikes, Haro Masters, Red Lines. I got my prized possessions, a RL22 RL Osborne Red Line. Worth a little bit of money now. I'm about to go ahead and pump it off, but it's a Radberry, really rare. It was in a movie Rad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool, man. And I got Kaharas and Hutches and GTs and all that stuff.
Jeez.
And
you are a collector.
Oh, I'm a hoarder.
How many pairs of shoes you got,
babe? If you're listening, I'm a hoarder. I'll admit it. I'm sorry.
How many pairs of shoes do you have? I've heard this answer before.
I better get on a drink. I don't know. There's probably 400. I don't know.
Yeah.
My son's got a bunch of them up there in Tulsa. But I got into sneakers. Years ago. Obviously, when I'm in middle school, Jordans are coming out, the Jordan 3s.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with Jordan 3s. I couldn't afford them, so I get a little bit older. So, yeah, I'm getting Jordan 3s. And that's what started it. So, man, I started collecting sneakers. And my son at the time, he was playing basketball. I have 3 sons. One's 26. One's about to be 21 here next week. And then a 14-year-old. That's going to be 15 next month. My oldest boy is very, very responsible. He didn't really care about sneakers. He cared more about saving money and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, exactly. And my middle boy, oh, yeah, we're probably the same, we waste money. But he really got into sneakers, and he was playing basketball. So his sneaker addiction kind of started off with the KDs, the Paul Georges, stuff like that, Kobe's and stuff like that. And then he got into sneakers with me. Well, the purpose is to get him to start collecting cigars to buy and sell. He's just bad with money. So he don't
Sneakers,
actually,
right?
Exactly. Well, I'm bad with money, so I don't blame it. I guess the apple don't fall far from the tree. So, but the thing is he's getting in, he understands now, and we have a lot of collectible sneakers. We have a ton of off-white sneakers. Well, the ones I'm wearing right now, these are the Chicago off-whites. Guy named Virgil created the off-whites.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, look, we will never have anybody in the sneaker industry, our generation ever, like this man. This man did things with sneakers that's hasn't been done ever and won't ever be copied. And he passed away. So we got probably 30 pairs of off-whites. Just for instance, I'll go ahead and tell you, like these sneakers right here, these are going to be sold later on this year. I've been waiting for the sneakers to go back up just a little bit, but the resale on these right now is about $6,500.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So I tell my son, this is ideal.
Yeah.
This is better than drug money, really. So the deal is you sit here, and if you're lucky enough to get them at retail, which was $250.
Jeez.
So I was lucky enough. And I'm able to wear them sometimes and still sell them.
Yeah.
So
I've heard wearing them is actually good for keeping the quality.
it is. If you're careful with them.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
Because if not, the soles will deteriorate.
Yeah.
But the thing is not all sneakers like that, obviously. But you kind of got to be in the game to actually know what's going to pop off. Like I have 3, 4, 5 pairs of Travis Scotts. Obviously, my kids are Travis Scott fans. Hell, I'm a Travis Scott fan. But my prized possession, and they're not even worth more than these. There's a guy named Shoe Surgeon in California. And Shoe Surgeon, what he does is he takes the factory sneakers and he'll take them apart and put different materials on them. But he's such a popular guy that don't devalue the sneakers. Now, he came out with these sneakers and it was Travis Scott Jordan 4s. And the Travis Scott Jordan 4s are like a blue color. Travis Scott's known as Cactus Jack or whatever, He took the material off and put green ostrich till it looks like a cactus on it.
Oh, wow.
I seen these and I fell in love. I had to have them. I didn't care. And so I ended up with them. So
Were they cheap?
no. I traded out some things, luckily. you know. But if I didn't trade out some things, I probably could have sold a nice little crotch rocket and bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like a lot of that stuff. And I'll be able to, I've wore them like 4 times. My son probably going to graduate in them. He likes them, but I'll be able to sell them. And by the time I sell them, they're probably going to be worth probably 6,000 or 7,000.
Jeez.
Wow.
But yeah, so he's got a lot. I got a lot. My son now, my 14-year-old's in a 10 and a half. He's hoping to get into a 12, so he can wear all that stuff.
Yeah,
you say you're bad with money, but you're collecting stuff that it seems like it holds value and you can trade it. And
that's the thing is like, just like cars, I told you, I couldn't afford that stuff. So I had to learn how to build it.
Yeah, right.
So the sneakers, obviously I had to figure out a way. I want these cool sneakers, but I don't want to waste money. Got to make money on them. So I figured out how to do that. Skateboards, bikes, all that stuff, So, especially cars, I never had retirement, 401k, none of that stuff. I didn't even expect to be alive right now. I'm 48 years old, So this is unplanned, So I'm trying to figure it out. So the thing is over the years, I collected all these classic cars, and because that was my retirement, So now that I'm older, and me and wives, we talk about it. Material things anymore don't really matter.
Yeah.
We want experiences. We want to go see some stuff.
Right.
And what sucks is, the younger that you are, you don't think about it. Like, man, I want to go overseas. I want to see some of the lands.
Yeah,
I want to see, Scotland. I want to see Ireland. All of that stuff. Norway, Iceland. I want to see that. And if I just have to sell this stuff to do that, hey, man, I'm all in.
Yeah, right.
Like there was a time, for instance, we're going to build a little patio on a deck in the backyard by the swimming pool. And, we was going to just go spend money and do it or whatever. But I ended up selling a pair of sneakers that funded 3/4 of it.
Yeah, right.
You know, just one pair of sneakers.
Yeah, you know. So this little deck was going to cost, you know, because I do all the labor, it was going to cost about $1,500. I went and sold a pair of sneakers for $900, and you know, it's crazy that I give $150 for.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
You know?
You've really figured out how to turn, I feel like, collecting into legitimately your job. Like that's what you do for your income.
Yeah.
As you talk about like being able to trade that stuff in for experiences and being able to travel. You wouldn't be able to do that if you hadn't spent all those years collecting.
You're right. And one thing I think about all the time is all these years collecting this stuff, because I've really pissed off a lot of good stuff. You know, I think back like, man, I should have kept that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was my time to do it.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't really get into religion a whole lot. And by the way, I made a pretty good move in my religion here a few months ago, man, and got saved finally. And for years, yeah, thank you, man. For years, you know, I didn't believe or whatever. But I do think that things do happen for a reason.
Sure.
And things happen at certain times. The younger that I was, man, look, yeah, I pissed off a lot of cars and stuff, but I wasn't ready to own that stuff, you know. And now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit smarter, I think, you know, it's time.
Yeah.
And it's really going to pay off.
Yeah.
It's going to be real good, you know.
Well, it's like one of those things where, you know, you're at least making smart investments, whether you realize it or not, you know. Like it still ends up kind of paying off for you.
Can you convince my wife? It's Kelly.
Yeah. Kelly.
Yeah. I'm doing good, baby.
I'm glad I got you here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is an intervention, really. You know?
What's the chances he listens?
Yeah, exactly. 0.
Yeah, it's the same for us. So.
Yeah.
You know, it gives us the freedom to be able to talk about stuff and not have to worry so much.
Funny, one time I walked into the house one day and I hear my voice and I'm like, and I walk in and on the TV is you and I talking. And I go, what the fuck is going on in here?
Exactly. Yeah.
You turn this shit off right now.
Who's that guy, man?
We don't need this kind of filth in this house.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn that off. This is a Christian house. Turn that off.
This guy needs help.
No,
man. Yeah.
Told you not to watch that filth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, man. So, yeah. So I'm going to start eliminating stuff and hopefully to get back in the body shop a little bit more. You know, I've been off for about 6 months, kind of focused on different stuff in my house and, well, my family, you know, just, I'll tell you, man, it really sucks. I have a good relationship with my kids, I think, you know, my boys. But, you know, my 2 older ones, I wasn't around a whole lot while they was growing up because I was always in shop, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a boy now that's 14. I'm be honest, man, I really have enjoyed it because I'm around him a lot more, you know.
Yeah.
And it was always a deal, too. I would go home and I'm a very big stickler. Like, I can't sit still, you know. But I finally started going home and sitting in a recliner, you know, and watch TV with the wife. Hey, man, I enjoy it. Shit, I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
After I leave work.
Yeah,
man.
Just a little taste of laziness.
Wow, man.
Right,
yeah. You know,
shit, I get it.
Yeah. I might fall asleep in 30 minutes, but I'm there, you know.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with someone else the other day, but like I finally am starting to realize like when you see like a buddy's dad just hanging out in a recliner with like a beer or like or just literally doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like TV's on but not even paying attention and just totally content. It's like I'm starting to get that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I didn't have that, so I love it now, you know. So I've been out of the body shop. So I'm going to get back into it. It's on my mom and dad's property, so it'll give me a little bit of time to visit with them too.
Yeah, sure.
And we're building some cool stuff, man. I have a 63 Impala on the rotisserie right now. That's my personal car. I'm known for convertibles. Okay. I have a convertible fetish. I'm sorry. Like I love it. I love the wind noise and the rattling top and all that. Yeah. I don't know, but this is a 63 Impala hardtop super sport. I've always wanted to build a 409 4-speed Impala, you know. I made songs about it. I want one, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I have this car and I put it on a rotisserie and man, I've had a bunch of chances to sell it. For whatever reason, I can't sell this car. So I am going to build it this year. I have a 70 Chevy or GMC truck that I'm in the process of building. What's cool about it is I never build long beds. They just don't sell very much. I have nothing against them. I like them, but they don't sell. Well, the thing is, this is a forester vehicle. And what that is, these national forests will order these particular GMC trucks. And they're 3/4 ton long bed, 4-wheel drives. There was only about 600 of them.
Oh, wow.
They're going at the auctions right now for $70,000, $80,000.
Gee.
Now, if you would have told me 10 years ago a Chevy truck will be worth $70,000, I told you full of shit.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's a damn old truck. Like,
Yeah.
But man, it's crazy. So they're bringing it. So that's what I'm building right now. It's a 70 GMC long bed. It's going to be two-tone, like a mist green and white. But I'm actually putting an LS1 fuel injector motor in it because this is another deal. Like, you know, the older generations, they collect vehicles. They're starting to go away because the problem is they did it for an investment.
Yeah.
So either they handled them down or they bought them to resell them. Well, again, our generation never had money. We finally got good jobs and we're getting a little bit of money and we like the cars that either our dads had or we grew up with, Trans Ams and Z28s.
Seen them on
stuff.
TV and movies.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah.
So they're actually spending money.
Yeah.
But the deal is, like this truck right here, hey man, I'm not going to bullshit you. I really think this is one of those trucks that you'll see on TV at this perfect little couple in a snowy area in Rhode Island and has a damn farm that they're going to put hay in the back and ride their kids around. So in my mind, I want it to look like a 70 GMC, but modern running gear and fuel injection where you can get in and go anywhere. So it ought to be a hit.
Well, that's a lot. Like my grandpa has been into cars and engines and whatever. You know, he's just one of those guys. He's just a gearhead kind of guy, and he used to drag race boats. And
really?
So it was funny because you know, I had to pull up a picture at some point to show you or send you when I find it. But we used to like inner tube and ski, and then even for a while, when we got older, we'd like wakeboard behind this 900 horsepower.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Monster.
Hey man, I'll do a lot of things, but I got to call it.
Yeah. You know, so I
I'm
have driven this boat personally.
Really?
Personally, I have gone 98 driving this boat.
Hey,
That's
people
scary.
don't realize how fast that is on water.
Because the thing is like when you're doing it, you have to set your line first. It's got to be about 5 o'clock in the morning. No one else can be on the lake. You got to know all the water patrol guys, and you got to pick your line, and you got to go because the bow of that boat, you're not going to see over it. You're not going to see anything, and it's so funny because I'm going about 95. And my grandpa leans over and he goes, "Hey Thomas, only thing in the water right now is the rudder." Fuck.
It's floating.
Yeah,
I know it, man.
Yeah, we've
That's
gone
crazy.
in that boat, and he since moved on. That boat ended up kind of blown up at one point, but anyway, but yeah, you know, and it's so funny just inner tubing behind this fucking you know what I mean? And like
I'm good at about 25.
Yeah, there was one time there were 6 of us in it, and my grandpa had to go in 92 with 6 of us in the boat.
Yeah,
I
probably
it's got a big old hot rod engine in the back.
Yeah,
you know,
it's loud.
Oh
too.
yeah, it looks like a drag race car.
And
it's just like the back of and it's.
I love it.
Oh man,
Baja
it's
boats.
It's so funny because like you know I'm sitting here like. You know, whatever. I'm a kid. I've been in this boat since as long as I can. I'm 9 years old. You know, like you know, sitting back in the engine bay of this boat, and and like riding behind it and whatever, and like we're tubing behind this fucking drag boat.
You're lucky you're here at this podcast.
I tell you what, man.
The boat was just an idle. So, and it was still going 30. So.
Yeah, exactly. It sits there and idles, just jumps, you know.
Well, it was funny because it didn't have like your traditional like hand thing. It had a pedal.
Oh yeah.
And so you know you
like
drive
an
it
actual
like
car.
Yeah, you drive it like a car.
Yeah.
That thing was,
I've been in some pretty fast boats too. Man,
else,
that's different.
So him and all his buddies, you know, they're all dipshits when it comes to this stuff. And so they had one of his buddies had bought and like souped up one of those like old Sea-Doos that like the water patrol guys use. And so they're like there so they can go chase down people. And I remember I was probably like, I don't even know, 8 or 9, maybe a little older, but I doubt it. Yeah. And they'd get those life vests that had the little handles, like a little hold on to. And it was me, the guy who had it, so my uncle, right?
Yeah.
Me behind him, and his son behind me. And we all had we each had life vests that had the handles on it. We go out on this fucking Sea-Doo. And he comes back, we had 86, Papa.
Wow.
And you're like, and in retros, and a kid, I'm just like, this is what we do. You know, we go fast in boats. And and now in like retrospect, I'm like, that's crazy.
Bro, if you would have hit the water, it would have felt like 222.
Yeah, because it'd take my head off.
My God,
I don't go that fast on the turnpike.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's terrible, man. That's really bad decision.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know he's like 9 beers deep at this point. You know,
exactly. Yeah,
and the water
that's
patrol
probably
guys,
what saved you.
Yeah, right. And the water patrol, because you know he knew all the water. Because he'd go out to these lakes, and he's got his little honey hole lakes that he goes and finds.
Wow.
And so he's at this one that he lives out in California and has his whole life, and like. We'd go up. I can't say the name of the lake, or he'd find this podcast and kill me. But he like he lives in Southern California, so he lives in Palmdale, so he lives outside of LA, just north. And so, but the lake he goes to is up by like Lake Tahoe, and they'll go spend a whole summer up there. They just leave.
It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, they just leave the camper up there, and then they just like he just rents his camper space. He's like, I think he said he's paid the next like 7 years of his like camping slot, right? And he's just like,
send me his number, man. I like to be friends with
you. Cool guy.
I want to go.
Yeah. So it's like they go spend the summers out there, whatever. And so it's funny now because you know he's got some like, and you know him, and you'd probably be the same way. He's all like, he's kind of kicking rocks because he's got this like, he's probably got a $80,000 like wakeboarding boat.
Yeah.
But he's like, this piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking 45.
Not built worth shit.
Yeah. Right. Everything's plastic. Like, you know.
Change a prop 10 times trying to get some more speed.
Yeah. And he's this damn thing pulls you out of the water. It's bullshit. You know, it's like, you say, it should be coming from right behind the boat. That thing fucking 10 feet up in the air, pulling you out of the water. It's easy.
Well, what's crazy, man, is speaking of California, so that's kind of how I really got into lowriders. So, my grandma, on my dad's side, had family out there in California. So for a long time, every summer, I would go out there.
Yeah,
and
me too.
So I was exposed to all of this stuff. You know, I took my wife not too long ago to L.A. and we went down Crenshaw and let her see all the lowriders stuff. But I was exposed to that stuff.
Yeah,
I fell in love with lowriders. And, you know, I mean, come on, man. I mean,
I just fell in love with burritos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. California suntans.
Yeah, right.
But, and that's another deal, you know, I really got into skateboarding back then. But so here's the thing, man, you know, in the 80s, you know, rap music coming around, you know, and all this stuff. And California's the mecca here. And you're seeing all this stuff and you're exposed to all this stuff. And then after a while, man, just to be honest, my grandma stopped taking me because I started getting involved with stupid stuff, you know, and she's like, yeah, it's probably time for you to go back, you know. So I stopped going out there, but I go back every now and then and see the stuff, man. But I built a lot of lowriders over time and hydraulics and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I had a damn Cutlass hopper that hopped. Dang. And it'd hop as high as that rack right there. I think it was like 86 inches under.
You can't see.
Tire.
That's a tall rack.
Yeah, like it was 86
wind
inches
is coming in.
Woo!
You pull that down a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll get him his Hello Kitty blanket.
that cold front's coming through tonight. It's supposed to get down to like at some point. It's supposed to feel the wind chill's like -22.
I think it just got here.
Yeah, we found it.
Oh yeah, stuff's falling. Yeah. But so cars, man.
Well,
that's really my background.
You can.
Yeah.
But I think, man, the thing is I'm passionate about all of it anyways, you know. Well, speaking of, I mean, we're here to supplement warehouse here. So another thing passionate about is working out, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But so
you've really gotten in good shape the last year.
Really,
man.
thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Well, so 25 years ago, I competed powerlifting. And at the time, the Sooner State Games was at the Myriad. It's not even the Myriad anymore, you know. It's Cox Convention or whatever. But I would compete at that for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And fell in love with it. Well, I just got out of it. It was over and done. So for 20 years, you know, I let myself go, you know. And you don't think about it. And be honest with you, man, I gained a ton of weight and ended up with diabetes and just really let myself go for 20 years. Well, back in, I got my gym membership April 10th. So April 8th, I think it was, Me and the wife sitting there watching TV. It's about midnight. Man, I don't feel good. And I was taking insulin shots daily.
Wow.
I said, man, I don't feel good. She said, check your blood sugar. Well, it was 580. Here's the deal. 400.
Holy moly.
Yeah. 400 stroke level.
Yeah.
500 is coma level. My 580, she said, get up, let's walk around the block. Help lower it. I took an insulin shot. Me and her walked around the block. I get back to the house, check it. It's 612.
Oh my gosh.
She said, nope, we're going to hospital.
Yeah,
so
right.
we immediately went. They put insulin in me to get my blood sugar down. I'm sitting on the bed. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And she's sitting there. I'm kind of teary-eyed.
Sure.
And she's like, what's wrong? And I said, man, I'm not going to see my grandkids,
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'm not going to see my kids grow,
Yeah.
And she said, well, what are you going to do? I said, done. I'm getting back in the gym. I'm going to get my shit together and fix this,
Mhm.
Well, so back 25 years ago, there's a place out of Dallas, Texas called the Cooper Institute. So I took my certification to be a personal trainer and nutritionist when I was powerlifting. And so I knew what to do all those years, just
Sure.
didn't do it,
Yeah, right.
And
That's how it goes.
and it's stupid because 25 years ago, I actually went to Marine boot camp in Lompoc, California.
You want
Let me get a little bit of that. Yeah. Thank you. And became an assistant sous chef on the base. Exactly. I know. So this is what's crazy is.
Real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna the goal of this podcast is for Thomas and I to try and find something that you don't know everything about.
damn, man.
Let's say, I want to try to start finding
Yeah.
something. What tell me your 3 top brands or 2 top brands for chef knives.
Man, I've been out of it for a while. Let's just keep it 100. The wife got some knives the other day that was damn ninja knives as sharp as shit. So Kabuki makes damn weightlifting bars, but there's also a knife brand called Kabuki. And then Boker.
Yeah.
Love
All right.
Boker.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, we got go do another one.
Yeah.
What shit. You think of something, Kevin. Quiz him.
I was trying to think of myself
Mm.
outside of things that he's mentioned before.
Yeah, right.
Let's see.
What does he
I'm
not
all
know
the stuff
about?
that I'm into, he's into.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's,
it's
why I
even
like him.
skateboarding,
That's the,
yeah.
that's the bullshit.
I know.
That's why I like when he comes in. I like talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What where did the skate park? This is going to be a tough one. Skate. It's a company that builds skate parks called Pivot. They built one somewhere in the Oklahoma City metro. Where did they build that?
They're not the ones that was involved at Hefner.
No.
Was it the one on Robinson?
No.
Where's it at?
Norman.
Really?
Yeah. Super
Pivot.
cool park.
Really? I don't think I've ever been there.
It is
That's
probably
the only place Clyde's not ever been.
That's why I'm going. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
We're about to find out.
dude, it just looks cool and
Really?
it rides just phenomenally.
Is there
Like,
a lot of transitions and stuff in it?
lot of transitions. It's a good mix of vert and street. So I don't know what you're really into,
Yeah.
but it's all separated with like landscaping and stuff,
Really?
and it's got all these like little paths. But it all like I've been to parks like that before
Yeah.
where it looks cooler than it skates,
Mhm.
but this one skates phenomenally.
Anymore it's just kick push. I just like just riding fast.
Yeah.
But I don't ride longboards. I ride old school decks, 8 to 10 inches wide.
Yeah.
I will ride some popsicle decks, especially if I'm doing some tricks or just want to mess around. But most of the time I'm on flight decks because they're made for big guys.
Yeah.
They don't break,
Right.
So Caballero makes a good, or Pal Peralta makes a good flight deck. They're not like those 7-plies. They actually got carbon fiber in between them and stuff. So
Mhm.
they're really cool. But man, yeah, I got to try that out. Yeah.
It's probably one of the coolest parks in the area.
yeah.
Yeah. Stars and Stripes is a really cool one too.
Yeah.
I did that one for probably 3 times a week for 6 months. So I was into skateboarding when I was younger, like
Yeah.
street skating, rails, ledges, that
Yeah.
kinds of stuff, finding street spots, hitting parks like everywhere in the area. Like in St. Louis, there's probably new parks now, but at the time I probably had hit every park a dozen times.
Yeah.
But didn't do that when I left for college. I kind of got out of skateboarding. I got into working out my senior year of high school. Started filling out shirts and actually,
that's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's
that'll hook you.
Girls started looking at him finally.
That's was the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, really got into working out my senior year and I didn't skateboard for probably 10 years.
Yeah.
And Alyssa bought me a skateboard for my birthday. And I stepped on it a couple of times, didn't really use it for a couple of years. And then finally, a friend of mine invited me to a park like a handful of times. And finally I joined him. And it was the most fun thing I'd ever done. And it was like I could barely stand up on it when I first got to the park.
Yeah.
But I was relearning tricks so quickly. By the end of the day, I was doing some board slides and hitting some Euro gaps and whatnot. So I got so hooked into it. And then I did that for about 6 months and I relearned about everything that I used to be able to do, minus like the big rails and jumps and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I started to try and learn new stuff that I didn't know before. And it took me a really long time and I got bored with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, my buddy at Core Board Shop, he was involved with the one at Stars and Stripes out there. And I was there at their opening day. And I didn't skate on it at that time. Since I have been back out there. I like it. It's a little bit, I just want to say it's more user-friendly. It don't have a lot of heavy transitions and it don't have a lot of vert to it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more user friendly. The one out there by Overhoser Lake, it's not too bad. But the problem is out there, you got guys out there on those stupid ass electric scooters, those Lime scooters and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, and it kind of kills it. Yeah. But my boy, all of my boys never really got into it. So talking about selling a lot of that stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them all pick out a cool skateboard, keep it for themselves. I'll probably hang a couple on the wall and then just get rid of the rest. But the one that I ride the most, so I went to Taft Middle School. I was bused to Taft Middle School. Yeah. So we had,
yeah.
We had a group of guys that was skaters. And my first, I guess you'd say professional board, was Steve Caballero Dragon's Bats. And it was lime green. I got Owl's bicycles. And all these guys are riding Vision hippie sticks and Santa Cruz decks, all this stuff. I pop up with this damn lime green Dragons and Bats, and they start clowning me. Little do they know, that's the most collectible deck to this day. Yeah, they don't know shit.
That's right.
So if you're listening,
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's on you.
How long's that been?
Man, shit. 86, 87? Yeah,
so that's
88, yeah. 88.
So that's what, 30?
Damn, bro.
Yeah, that's what, 35, 36 years ago?
Judge-free podcast.
Yeah. 36 years ago, you could shove it.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Got you.
So what's crazy is, hell, I didn't know. I ended up getting rid of it. And I waited forever to buy one. Well, an original one, shit, man, they're like $5,000 or something stupid if you can find them.
Jeez.
I'm like, yeah, I'll never own one. That's stupid. But they reissued them. And I ended up buying like 2 of them just in case.
Yeah,
but that's the one I ride most of the time anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And then my boys, since they're sneaker kids, they got a lot of Supreme decks and stuff like that,
You know, it's really interesting because I don't collect a lot of things. Like the alcohol is about the only thing I've really gotten into where I can spot something,
Same.
as I'm driving by the place. I can, you know what?
You can sniff it out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like, and so, but I get it though, man. There is, I just recently got Kevin a Christmas / congratulations on having a child gift kind of thing.
That's awesome.
And it was one of those where it's so funny. I picked up, we were in San Francisco a couple weeks ago or last week, I guess.
Oh, that was wild. I heard.
It's something. It's an interesting place.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place for sure. But we're literally riding the bus somewhere and we're going to, gosh, I don't even remember where we're going. We're going to like Fisherman's Wharf or something like that. And we're going down Market Street and I passed this place and I forget what it's called. It's called like it doesn't matter. But I'm passing, it's a liquor store. It's a nice liquor store. And I'm like, well, I wonder what they got in there.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I'm gonna find that place later. And I'm kind of realizing, you know, it's probably about a 15, 20-minute walk from the hotel. I'm like, that's not bad, you know? And so I'm like, you know, I really want to check that place out. Kind of, and I had I would, you know, I sound like I'm making this up, but I had like a bit of a feeling. I'm like, I need to go just look. What do they have? I'm sure it's all going to be too expensive, like whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's not even, it's like the next night. Laurel's a little sleepy or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna go walk around, you know? And she's like, be fucking careful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm
got
like,
a knife.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So
apologize. I've heard this story. I gotta pee real bad.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, the coolest story you're ever gonna hear. Sure, yeah, fine.
I really would like to hear it again.
But anyway, I'm just I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna head back up. I'm gonna walk that way. I have a pretty good idea where it's at. And I go in there and I'm looking around and they don't have anything like too crazy, you know. The prices aren't bad, you know, a lot of like just normal retail price for stuff. I'm like, okay. And I've been searching for something for him and I want to find something special, you know. Just had his first kid, Christmas, you know, all that kind of stuff. More for Riley, kind of like, hey, congratulations, you know. And I'm like, man, I'm like, I've come across a couple of things. I found some stuff that like, you know, secondhand that I'm like, man, you know, gosh, I could do this, but man, I you know, I don't want to spend $500 on something that like I don't need to be spending $500 on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so I end up going in there, and I'm kind.
That's you.
Hey, me? Is that Kevin?
Yeah, maybe.
That's the guy.
Yeah,
he runs to the bathroom.
Hunts him
phone
down.
ringing.
Yep.
Dick in his hand.
Yep.
Classic Kevin.
He knew they was calling, so he ran.
I knew it. Yeah, that's the. Hey, Kevin, your phone's ringing. But anyway, so I go in there and I'm like, you know what? Like, I really feel like there's gonna be something cool. This is a cool place, like whatever. And so, and I was pretty big on just kind of walking around San Francisco whenever I had a chance, especially. And I hate to say it this way, but especially when I didn't have Laurel, because like there is that level of like I want to explore, but I'll get in a fight. I'll protect my. I don't want to have to worry about her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. This is like one of those things where I'm like, if I'm gonna be walking around randomly in San Francisco at night, I'd rather kind of be doing it by myself, and not because I don't want her there, but because then it's like, I'm going to go to sketchier places for sure. Yeah. Whatever. You know, I'm like walking through the Tenderloin of San Francisco, which is not a nice area.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, that guy's smoking crack. But anyway, so I walk in this place and it's pretty nice. And I'm just looking around and kind of checking out all the different things they've got. And they've got a couple of pretty cool things, a couple of overpriced whiskeys, whatever. And I look, and I'm talking to the guy a little bit. I'm like, man, it's a beautiful shop. Like, you know, this just kind of complimenting him. And he's like, oh, you know, thanks, you know. And I look behind him, and I'm like, that Fortaleza sitting behind you right there, Tequila Fortaleza. And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, which ones you got back there? And he's like, oh, I've got Blanco and I've got the Añejo. And I'm like,
really?
You've got Fortaleza and Añejo back there?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've got 2 bottles. And I go, wow, that's pretty cool, man. You know, I've never seen a bottle in person. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he goes, oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, man, you know, like, well, how much you want for it? You know? Yeah. And I'm expecting, you know, it's a nice shop. I'm expecting him to, you know, to $300 or something, you know, and that's not uncommon right now on like secondary market. And your phone rang a second ago. Messed up my whole story.
I'm sorry, 800 number too.
Telemarketers. Anyway, so he goes, oh, and he scans it and he goes, oh, it looks like we got it for $75.
No, we don't.
And I go, can I buy both of them?
Yeah.
And exactly. He goes, yeah, I don't care. And I go, thank you very much. Yeah. And I'm like
trying to give him a hug and stuff.
Yeah, right. Like I'm like,
awkward.
Can I kiss you? Like what happened? And I'm like, this might be currently one of, if not the most like sought after bottle of tequila around right now.
Did you tell him after you paid him?
Yeah, I didn't tell him jack shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like
skipping back to the
I was trembling, holding 2 bottles of Fortaleza. Like, I'm not going through any bad parts of the town, like any bad parts of the city.
Trying to call Uber.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, and I'm like, did I just?
Yeah, that's why.
I'm like, this is a fever dream right now. I did not just buy 2
I've
bottles.
never seen an AO.
Yeah, and I'm like, I did not just buy 2 bottles of Fortaleza Añejo for $150 total, and I'm like, I don't want to be like, you got any more back there? Like, what's going on here?
Exactly.
So, question: Do you have a cigar that you would pair with a Fortaleza Añejo?
Yep. Cavalier White Series.
Okay.
So Cavalier, man, this guy's amazing. His name's Sebastian, and he's from Switzerland. And years ago, so I was his very first account when I was with that other shop. And I always tell the wife, I said, I think I had a man crush on him. Look, so he come in, he's bald headed, he's got a beard down to his stomach, really just slim fit guy, and he's in this custom made suit, like he is on point, and he brings in these cigars, and I try them and I fell in love with them.
Yeah.
The guy that Will, your friends, I love Will to death, but he fell in love. Yeah, he fell in love with Cavalier cigars. They got a little gold diamond on the front. The coolest thing about the Cavalier cigars, one, they're Honduran. Honduran tobacco, I have found, is probably closer to Cuban tobacco than anything. But they're complex cigars. 2,
this has just continued to get better.
This is phenomenal.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good cigar. That Cavalier cigar, it's even what they consider the strong cigars in Honduras, they're still only about medium profile. They're not real heavy, but you get a lot of flavor out of them. And but that particular cigar would be perfect because it's really weird. Man, look, there's this guy that does. I won't name it, but he does reviews. I can't stand him. I've tried to chase him in Vegas, but the guy he does these weird ass reviews. So his reviews is, let me tell you why I don't like him. So there's a cigar that comes out not too long ago. Drew Estate makes it's a Liga 9, which is a real popular cigar. It's been out for years. Really sought after cigar. They made a certain size, what they call a Corona Viva. His review, I'm not shitting you, says it tastes like 1985 Topps bubblegum, the powder on the bubblegum. Okay. Like, he has these crazy reviews that has these outlandish shit that he says that tastes like.
Like anybody's going to know exactly what that tastes like.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
It tastes like the aftertaste when you've had a Crunchwrap Supreme and too many beers, and then you wake up in the middle of the night and you got that little bit of coating on your mouth that you're not exactly sure if you're going to throw up or not. But it's kind of like, I don't hate it. That's the taste of this.
You're dead on. So it's crazy because, like, if you look at some of his reviews, just crazy shit that he says. It tastes like saddle soap and shit like this. Like the people that smoke cigars know that he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. But the guys that's coming into the industry don't know this. So this cigar is like $16, So what started all this is he makes this review. I'm wild. So I see this review and now I'm pissed off. I don't even know why I'm mad, So I send a message to this guy. I'm like, you're the problem with this industry, like these people that's coming
trouble.
In. And like this we're having to put
starting trouble.
We're having to put these damn suits.
When have you ever been a troublemaker?
Exactly. I'm a saint. Ask my mama.
Yes, he was recently saved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm perfect. Ask my mama. But and he says that all this stuff, and I'm like, man, we're having to put these expensive cigars on a shelf, and these new people that's reading your reviews, they ain't going to come buy it because they don't want Topps bubblegum powder, and all this shit, But the thing is he's got this crazy ass palate, and we know he's full of shit. But on certain cigars, you can kind of get some of that stuff. And with that particular cigar, it has more of a kind of an anise type spice to it, which obviously, like I said, it's don't have it in it, but the way that they cure it and ferment it. It also has a really odd kind of woody note to it. Really kind of like a cedary note as you're smoking it. Also, it has a weird, and it has a Habano wrapper. So it shouldn't have, like you'll hear a lot of these guys that say, oh, I'm getting a lot of cocoa notes. Well, most time it's a Maduro cigar that they're getting these notes out of. And it's really kind of suggestive because the damn wrapper's dark brown,
Sure.
You think it tastes like a chocolate bar. But this particular cigar has kind of a baker's spice type chocolate to it. I think it'll pair perfect.
So 2 things.
Yep.
One, that settles it. You have to come back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We'll bring the Fortaleza.
Yeah.
Good.
Pair it with those cigars.
Yep.
Your bottle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And 2, man, we see people like you talk about that guy that does the reviews on cigars.
Yeah.
There's people like that in the fitness industry too. And I feel like they're solely relying on just being
Getting paid for it.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. But they stand out by finding these super weird niche things.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name names either.
Yeah.
But there's these people. There's even people that are legitimate doctors that are finding these random foods, and they'll find these random little micronutrients or these polyphenols, and it's like, and you can't, you shouldn't have this because of this, and it causes this, and it's just like, okay, but if you actually look at, and luckily there are people in the fitness industry, it's actually gotten really big in the fitness industry of people calling out the bullshit, and I fucking love those people,
Yes.
but the people in general have a lot of attention because the people that aren't familiar and are that don't know the science behind it look at that of like, oh yeah, that I probably shouldn't eat broccoli. So
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fitness industry, TikTok, it's good and bad. So here's the thing.
Sure.
So I will say, and speaking of fitness industry, I've spoke with you because, this is what you do is you sell supplements, and I'm trying to get into the supplements myself, which I'm a little ways out because I really need to get some stuff in order before I jump off into it.
And you're probably going to be particular just like everything else.
Yeah, I'm really going to do my research and really test a lot.
Absolutely, as you should.
Yeah, but
it'll be available and try it, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. Green Iron Fitness is coming. But so the thing is TikTok is good and bad. There's a lot of informative stuff. There's a lot of bullshit shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it. But I really think, speaking of fitness, right now is absolutely the perfect time. Like, fitness has been around since, whenever, 50s, 60s, whatever, and really heavy in the 70s. And really came, but you'll see that it'll come and then it'll fall off. Then it'll come and fall off. I think that the generation now that's really getting into, especially younger generation, this is going to be here for a lot of years.
I think so too.
It's not a 5-10 year thing. I think this is for the rest.
For the first time, I think, pretty much ever, you're starting to meet kids younger and younger who want a career in the fitness industry. You're meeting kids who you might see a kid, a big old kid, and you're like, man, you play football? And he's like, no, I just work out. I just want to be a bodybuilder, or something like that.
I love it. It's really good. So let's be honest, man, social media has helped. If you're not using, and I love how y'all guys do it. I did the same thing with my shop. Anybody that has a small business, if you're not using social media, you're really screwing up. Mm-hmm. That shit's free. We're not advertising in newspapers and phone books anymore.
I think a lot of people, in us being included, don't realize how you're supposed to use it, though. And like you talked about, being more informative, where I think everybody looks at social media as free advertising.
Yeah.
But if you create a page and solely just post advertising this product or that product, you're literally a TV channel that only plays commercials.
That's right.
How many people are going to watch that?
You're right.
Where if you're informative, you do some
interesting
stuff, that's where people tune in. And then you can play your own commercials within that. Right. You can plug your own products, things that you want to recommend. And they have to be good because if you start to recommend stuff that's not good quality, people are going to catch on and they aren't going to take your recommendations.
I think it's a good point. I mean, how many, not to talk bad about anything, but it's like how many different I'll get some random supplement store from across the country comes across my For You page or whatever, and I'll click on it and I'll look, and every single post on social media is just a from the manufacturer ad
Mm-hmm.
for like different. It's just it's three different pre-workout or 3 different flavors of a pre-workout.
12 likes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I imagine your algorithm sucks. it is fitness everything. You don't get nothing outside of that. No news, no nothing.
No, it's
But I say this, and I'm not saying it just because I'm on here. I love how y'all do it because you see Thomas a lot on there, and he'll say, "Okay, here's the new products. This, and this. This is what it does."
key is getting the good-looking guys on there.
Well, I mean, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why we've had to limit Kevin quite a bit.
Yeah. Well,
We I know you're just poking a jab at me, but we do call him One Take Tommy.
One take
yeah,
Tommy.
one take.
That is, to be honest, it has nothing to do with my looks. I know that's all surprising to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's proximity to the warehouse with Ryan, and I can usually get a video done in like 1 to 2 takes, where it's just like just hammer it out and then we're done. And I think Ryan has appreciated that quite a bit.
Yeah,
Makes his job easier.
And the thing is, and I tell people about social media. Look, here's the thing about social media: if small business, if you're not on there posting something on a regular, 2 weeks from now, if you're not posting, I'll go back to say 1 week. If you haven't posted something for 1 week, you're irrelevant. You're gone. You're not there in front of people's faces. You've lost your spot.
Yeah.
People's on to something else.
Yeah.
So you constantly got to post and keep people updated.
Yeah.
So you
and a
do a really
reason
good
to be
job.
looking for it. Like for us, I know we've done a number of different like promotions and things that have happened in the form of like giveaways. Like we've done multiple different. We did one just recently where we did a gift card giveaway, and then now we're doing another gift card giveaway at each individual store. And so it's like it's just like it's not just reasons to tune in, where it's like it does provide, especially as a guy who's in the store all the time, and I'm not, always on the back end of things, but it gives me like real reason to tell people like, hey man, do you follow us on social media? You should, because you're coming in here every 3 days asking about a new shirt drop. And it's like, man, if you want to know where to find info on shirt drops, follow us on Instagram, on social media. And it's like, that's where you're going to find it.
I'm sorry I call you all the time.
No,
for new shirts.
I love talking to you.
I'm just messing with you.
When I see Percy pop up, I'm like, hey.
No, it's nuts, man. I was talking to Kevin. I'm not going to mention the name, but you have supplement stores and stuff, and they cater to their stuff, and they don't have a lot of knowledge. I love Triad so much because, one, you can come in here and we're talking like regular people. And I asked for a recommendation, and I was telling Kevin, like, your personal brand, Define, amazing.
Sure,
I use it. I use it myself.
Yeah.
Okay, but also, like, if I come in here and I say, "Here's my goal," or "This is what I'm looking for. What do you recommend?" It's not always just Define products. You're here to actually help get the right stuff in right hand. You're not here to just sell something and push it off on someone.
That's right.
That's amazing. So your business model is just killer, man. Really. Like, and let's face it, I mean, even Kevin, I mean, being a store owner like this, you go in other supplement stores. You're going to support other places. Hell, I go in other cigar shops and spend money that I don't really need to spend because I got it at my store, but it's for support.
Sure.
Yeah. So
we want people getting healthy.
Yeah,
we want people having access.
It's so much nicer to have relationships with your competition than it is to be enemies.
Thank you.
We've got it both ways in the industry.
And I've always said this in the cigar industry, it's terrible. The worst word ever is competition. Yeah, I'm not your competition. Like, we'll service this community. You service this community. There's enough to go around.
Right.
Okay? And we should get along. Also, you do want your customers to kind of cross over a little bit because there's stuff that you don't have, and you want them fixed up, because what's going to happen is, I learned this early on selling automotive parts way back in the day. There's a place off of I-35 and 89, that classic auto parts mall. I worked there years ago as a manager, parts manager, sold Model T, Model A parts, stuff like that. Well, a lot of the older gentlemen that come in, you don't have their part. Obviously, you can order it. They need fixed up right now.
Yeah.
Well, you sit here and you tell them, well, I don't have it, but you can go right over here and get it. Well, my manager above me at that time would get so pissed off. And he's like, you're just running these people off. No. Let me tell you something. What you're doing is you're helping these people because they're going to remember that. You're going to get them fixed up right now, but the next time that they need something, they're coming to you.
That's the most important thing is they feel like they actually got helped.
Yes.
Not just sold.
Yes. So if they're coming in here and it's something that, you could probably get them fixed up 99% of the time. But if there's something that you don't have, you can say, well, you could probably get it right here. Yeah. And they're always going to remember that. They're going to come back and support you. And so that's what's cool. And I love Triad. I told my wife, I probably could have paid half our house mortgage off. but I buy all my stuff here and I love it, man. And you guys are just amazing, man. And everybody that I've met within this company, amazing people, man. Just really good people.
Thank you.
I mean, the way we look at it is there is legitimate, like if you look at like the system, the capitalism.
Yeah.
I know that might trigger some people, but
you said what?
Yeah.
Did you say that word in this house?
Yeah.
But if you look at it, like and we are competing, is if somebody else is going and shopping somewhere else for whatever reason or buying something from somewhere else, we can't try and talk them into to shopping with us. We just have to be better at what we do.
Yeah.
That's always been, and we don't even look at that a whole lot but when we find people starting to shop other places or go other places, even if it's online, what can we do that would make it better for our customers?
Right. Exactly. And I'm not opposed to friendly competition.
Sure.
Like, look, I mean, okay, you got this new item and it's really cool, or your competitor does. Okay, well, watch, man, I'm going to have this cool item, and then it's kind of a friendly competition back and forth. And that's healthy. That's good for business.
We wouldn't be as good of quality as we are if we didn't have competition.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you this, talking about my weight loss. I don't know if we need to go or what, but okay, good. So
we're chilling.
Yeah, okay, good. So talking about, my journey, when all that happened, my blood sugar's crazy. And I'm telling you, 2 days later, I got a gym membership. I told myself I'm not going to get a gym membership close because then it's too convenient and I won't go,
Yeah.
So I got it completely across town. So I'd have to travel. And I did that on purpose. And I had to train myself, just to go. And I knew if I could go for a month straight, I was golden.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you something. So at that time, and I've told you a few times, at that time I was almost 315. Okay. And for the listeners, I'm only 5'11", so I was 315
you are
pounds.
6 foot.
Yeah.
Don't you sell yourself short.
Especially with sheep.
That's right.
Yeah. So the thing was, I was 315 pounds. I knew what to do, but no shit. I came in here and I talked to you and I talked to Will. I told you what my goal was. I needed good protein powder. I needed to get on this mission and lose weight. We talked about it numerous times. I always knew I needed to be in calorie deficit. I knew what to do.
Sure.
I knew about protein powder, 1 gram per pound of body weight, all this stuff. You guys was friendly enough to help me one time, and I'm a customer for life. And that was amazing to me. So no kidding. I stuck with it. I feel like I kind of cheated because I really lost weight just because I was on 2 scoops of protein 3 times a day. And that was my meals. And then in the evening, I'd eat something with protein and good carbohydrates. So I wasn't eating, 6, 8 times a day, regular food. I substituted with protein powder. But what happened was I stayed in the gym 5 days a week to 6 days a week at a constant, stayed in calorie deficit. My goal was 250. I hit 249. It did everything that I wanted to do. And no shit. I mean, I did it because of this place and the products. And that's not just a plug. I mean, that's what did it, And that's why I'll be a customer for life. So I did that. But also, I'm ignorant in the gym. I don't know any different except for lift heavy and lift or failure every time, Yeah. So all this time, I really did a good job and just beat myself to death. Lost all that weight. Now I'm on a bulk like everybody else during the winter.
Sure.
I talked to Cody a little bit about powerlifting, getting back into powerlifting. I'm 48 years old. I thought, maybe it's not time,
Cody down at Trinity, right?
Yeah, at Trinity, man.
Great guy.
God dang,
really
man.
smart guy.
Just-
Yeah,
So, you know,
so smart.
What was crazy, man, is I always said, well, it's too far down there because it's in Moore. I went down there one time and I couldn't stand it. I was hooked.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Good
so-
luck getting out of that
Yeah,
place.
exactly. Yeah, and a friend of mine works out down there too. So, what happened was because I was always going to Peak, and I still go to Peak out there. Well, hell, I got multiple gym members. I think we all do. Yeah, we all do. So
I feel like that's part of the key to being
it
consistent is
Mm-hmm.
being able to change up the scenery a little
it
bit.
is, and I think that's why I stuck with it. But here, not too long ago, I was talking about getting back into powerlifting, talked to him a little bit. But during this time, and I'm gaining weight back because I'm trying to bulk for the winter and try to gain some muscle, I decided against powerlifting. And I think, you know, because I've really only been back in the gym about 10 months now, 9 or 10 months. I'm really making gains. I'm really doing good. I don't think my body's conditioned yet.
Yeah.
With the shit that I do all the time, especially cars and stuff, you know, I definitely don't need to be hurt. You know?
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, you know, and I don't think I'm ready yet. But my weights that I'm at right now, I'm a good contender.
Sure.
So when I was talking to him, he was all on board, man. He really gave me just a great regimen. I was about to start working out, and then I decided against it. So I think at this point, I've decided I want to go ahead and train this year more, I guess, a bodybuilding type training, really gain some strength, condition myself. And then who knows, man, 49, I might hit
I'm back into it.
I might hit powerlifting one more time.
You know, it's fun. So what year did you get back into working out?
This year.
This year?
April
yeah.
10th.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
April 10th.
You keep talking about these months, and I'm like, what year is this?
April
So
10th.
Yeah.
my,
No, this is yeah.
my
When did you stop
perspective-
shopping here?
Yeah.
When
April
did you-
10th.
April 10th. Yeah.
the fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
So real quick, my perspective is the first time I met you, you came in and Will was working,
Yeah.
and he was talking about you pulling 5-something for multiples.
Yeah.
And then I see you at Trinity working out with some of the hardcore guys
Yeah.
down at Trinity, and I'm like, this guy's been in it for years.
Nope.
This fucking year?
April 10th this year. 315 pounds.
Holy shit.
I just did my November in-body scan before I started bulking. I was 251 and 10.2% body fat.
Yeah, daddy.
When you started in April, did you think you would be bulking by the end of the year?
Never. I was trying to get the shit off.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
'Cause, you know, I talk about it. You know, people's like, "Oh man, maybe you got good genetics." Shit, I've been fat my whole life. I don't think so. So the deal was once I started losing weight, I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to look good naked." This is
Yeah,
that was my
right.
whole goal. You know,
Yeah,
like
right.
the wife's gonna love this. You know?
Yeah.
And even she teased me sometimes. She's like, "You know, babe, I loved you whenever you was fat and didn't even realize it. But man, I really like muscles." Yeah, she's like, "I didn't even realize it."
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I tell you, so one of the biggest things is I did it because, man, honestly, like I couldn't crawl under cars and shit
Yeah.
anymore. Like it was rough,
Sure.
you know. But what's crazy is I guess I carried it well.
Sure.
Because I didn't even realize it. And you don't even realize that shit until you look at pictures and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh wow.
Yep.
You know,
for
you're
sure.
terrible, you know. But yeah, so about 9 or 10 months now, I really hit it hard. Man, look, so I'm lifting heavier now than I ever have. Even when I power lifted, I was 23, 24 years old, man. Look, I pulled 675 off the floor the other day for 3. You know?
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah,
I was-
exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I undersold you at 5 something.
Yeah.
So,
You know, and
Jeez.
so like the other day, and I
You
squat
can be
pretty
just
heavy.
lifting cars up.
Yeah,
before long.
exactly. You know, I
You be holding
yeah,
up, working on shit.
Yeah, my boy teased me all the time. Just move it out of the way, you know. But you know, my squats. I was fortunate enough to do 585 for a couple.
Yeah.
You know, and
Jeez.
my bench is getting back up there. You know, but so the whole goal ever. I just want to be strong. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about being cut
Yeah.
and ripped up and stuff.
My coolest story that just reminded me of was one time when I was this is way back when Triad was first getting going, and I was working at the liquor store, and there was a guy outside, and he had he had a flat tire and he had taken the tire off and like I don't know what he was doing, but the car had fallen off the jack.
Oh shit!
Yeah, right. And so he'd gotten the jack out from underneath the car. I think he didn't have like the e-brake on or something, and like the car rolled, and so he was able to get the jack out. But he's sitting down, and tires off, so it's just sitting on,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so I come out there because I hear a loud bang. And I'm like, when I come outside and I go, what in the world is going on out here? And he's like, kind of telling me what happened. I'm like, oh, dang. He's like, yeah. And now I can't get the jack back under the car. You know what I mean? To like jack it back up. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, you want me to try to lift it?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, and I'm like, let me try. And I lift it and he goes, oh shit, yeah, let me get the jack under there. And I was able to lift the car enough for him to get jack
that
under.
That guy probably tells that story all the time.
I'm sure he does.
For the listeners, this is a 79 Lincoln Town car. It's heavy.
That's right. This car weighed. It's a 2-ton.
Yeah. I got that. Well, didn't you do jiu-jitsu for a long time?
I still do.
Do you?
Yep. Yeah. That's my main workout.
Keeps you in shape.
Well, and kind of going back to a ways kind of what you were talking about earlier, because it just reminded me, and I've been wanting to bring it up, but it's like my most rewarding interaction I've had in probably the last year was we've got a couple that shops with us, and they're always doing different stuff. He does a lot of different. He was pretty decently overweight, and now he's like running Ironmans and doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
It.
And she's doing different things. And one of the most rewarding interactions I had, the name is Chris and Kristen, and she came in and I was like, hey, what's up? Like, what do we need to pick up today? And she goes, I was talking to Chris and I was just like not feeling real good about everything. And he looked at me and he said, you know what you need? And she goes, what? And she goes, you need a Thomas talk. And he goes, go on up to Triad and go have yourself a Thomas talk.
Oh.
And so she's like, I just want to come up here and talk to you. And I'm like, this is literally the coolest thing and I was like, and we just started talking about different things and, like and she's like, and we just talked about like, getting
luckily this is a cheap couch.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's free. It's Caitlin's. But it was like we were talking just about like her just not feeling good about like the progress that she had made. And I was like, well, like what are you eating today? And we were kind of going through it. And like she'd eaten a good breakfast and she'd eaten, a good lunch. And like she's like, normally this is when I'd be grabbing something dumb, but I'm up here and I'm grabbing a protein bar and I'm grabbing, and I'm like, look, you're doing it. You're doing it. And it was like, but just the fact that she came up there just to have a conversation, not just with me, but just with like one of us was like, it's such a rewarding thing because like if more places just understood that, man, it's just not about the sales, it's about the relationships. Like
really,
like it's
that's right.
crazy.
You're right.
It's like having that conversation with her. I could have that conversation all day, every day, forever, and be the most content person. Like it's like this is what it's about. And I'd sent a text to somebody recently who. They own a gym and they do some different stuff and do some really cool stuff and some really rewarding stuff. And I kind of, told this person, I was like, I want you to sit back and think about how many years of life you and your staff has added to your members.
Oh, yeah.
Like by creating such a positive and like good place to come and not just get healthy, but learn how to be healthy. I was like, how many people have you introduced to their grandkids? Like literally, how many people did you just introduce to your grandkids over this last year? Because there's a couple of them that wouldn't have met them.
Yeah.
And because of this environment and the thing that you're providing here, they get to now.
I really love it. I'll never stop from now on. Yeah. I mean, I'm stuck. So I think for me, I got I never do anything half-ass, I guess. I try to do it to my...
Clearly.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I try to do it. So years ago, I got certified as a personal trainer. Well, during this year, as I'm working out, I became ISSA certified personal trainer and nutritionist again.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. And people's ask me, like, what do you plan on doing with that? Shit, I don't know. I mean, I think
I'm a collector.
Yeah, exactly. Of all things. Yeah. But I think for me, I did it for myself. One, the industry has changed so much, fitness industry over the years. Mm-hmm. I think back at doing my certification with the Cooper Institute. Shit, I bet maybe 30% of that stuff is there.
Sure.
It's all changed. So for me, I knew this was something I was going to do from now on. And I love it. And I'm religiously going 6 days a week. It don't stop. But doing that certification, I learned so much more.
Yeah.
Every day, or every other day at least, I'm reading the book, going back through it.
Sure.
And, I kind of talked to you a little bit, kind of what's going on and stuff. Man, I don't know. Maybe one day become a personal trainer. I don't know if that's what my mission is to do, but I love this industry. I love where it's going. I love that it's full blown like it is.
Yep. It's heading in the best direction it's been.
It really
is.
is.
A long time, if ever. This is the best direction it's heading.
Man, the way you talk about it, I think is the most important part of getting in shape in general. Obviously, we're in January and, there's some people that are on a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
I think the gyms are busy mostly because they maybe fell off a little during the holidays or, had some spurts, maybe more in the fall, weren't as consistent, where everybody's consistent in January. So it's not everybody's a resolution, or there's a lot of people that are just weren't as consistent. Everybody's consistent at this time. So, but the biggest thing that the way you talk about it is you enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
And especially, again, I got to see you at Trinity last week, and you were working out with, it was Josh
and Guido.
Guido.
That dude's massive, ain't he?
Yes,
that's a
he
big
is.
old boy, man.
His workouts are kind of scary, man.
I really, so that was another deal I was telling Cody. I said, man, obviously I want to power lift, but I really need to condition. But I really enjoy working out with these guys. Shit, every workout I'm fatigued. I'm ready to go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's great.
And that's the difference there is I think people look at working out and dieting and fitness overall as a means to an end, where you have to enjoy the process. You have to, and there's so many facets to fitness that you don't have to do one certain way. You don't have to do what's the most ideal for this goal or that. Is find the thing that you enjoy the most, and it'll get you to generally where you want to be, and that's just in shape and healthy.
That's like I was having a conversation with Laurel, my fiance, the other day, and she's working on different stuff. We're getting ready for a wedding, so we're all kind of in that fitness mindset. And
better shape up, dude.
Yeah, tell you what. And so one of the things her and I were having a conversation about, and we'd be just openly candid about it, was she was like, hey, I'm like been doing this and like I like it, but I'm just not getting as sore as I feel like I should be. And I'm like, you're convincing yourself not to go because the other option is not going. And I was like, why don't you just go and just build the habit again? Like, why don't we just focus on just building the habit of going to the gym? And it's like, if you could just focus on that, the fitness, the results, everything you want will just fall into place.
Trust the process.
Just the process. Just who cares if it's not, and she's a perfectionist. If she's going to do it, she's going to be the best she can do at it. Right.
A Clyde, if you will.
Yeah. And I love that about her. But it's like, hey, why don't we just focus on building the habit? Just build the habit of getting back into the gym and get more comfortable with it and being confident in yourself of being in there. And it's like that will fall into an addiction faster than you realize.
That's the problem. So the thing is let's be honest here. We love the gym, but do we want to go every day? No. There's some mornings we wake up, we don't want to do shit, but we do it. Showing up is the biggest thing. Amen. So you got to hold yourself accountable. I've always said, any progress, good progress. It don't matter what it is, but if you can consistently get there and force yourself, and it's the shits, like you don't want to do it for 1 month. Yep. You're going to stick with it. 2, as soon as you see any kind of progress, you're stuck because now you know that it's working. Yep. But the thing is, and I'm going to talk about this, it sucks, but everybody wants instant gratification. Okay. Maybe I went down the same deal. I want instant gratification. But the kids nowadays, and this is bad, they see this shit on TikTok, and these kids are huge, but they're on gear. Yeah. So everybody wants to do it now, because they want instant results.
The whole trend joke has kind of gotten a little old.
It has.
Out of hand.
So the thing is, man, is that's the bad part of it. But if you can convince these people that come in and they're buying these supplements and they're just getting going, and just tell them, look, we enjoy your business right now, but our goal is to have your business 5 years from now. So what can we do right now to help you to continue this journey in order to be here 5 years from now to keep us in business?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can convince these people to be here in this gym, even if it's just 3 days a week, but for 1 month, they're going to see progress and they're going to stick with it.
My joke that I used to tell people all the time, and I used to say this more down when I was in Norman, but it still holds true today. But it's like a half joke, half advice kind of thing was people would be like, I'm just really trying to do this. And I say, days you don't feel like going to the gym, what I want you to do is on your way home from work or whatever, when you're supposed to be going to the gym and you don't want to, I say, park in the parking lot, walk in, go to the bathroom, go back out to your car. I don't care. Go home. Build the habit of going. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care if you even walk on a treadmill. I don't care. Go in, use the bathroom, and leave. I don't care. But build that habit of getting there, and I promise you it will fall into place.
I love that. That's that inner monologue to me is hearing other people talk about that of like, the people that are successful in whatever goal there is are the people that do it on the days I don't want to do it. And the days that I really don't want to do it, those are the days that I'm like, these are the ones that everybody else doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go fucking do it.
Yeah, right.
And we've all been there.
Right.
We walk into the gym. God damn, we can't get, we just cannot get motivated, but we showed up.
Yeah.
And anything that we did, we just went through the motions. It don't matter, you're not doing your weight, you're not hitting your goals, but you went through the motions and you got there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like that bathroom break might turn into a 20-minute workout.
You're right.
Which might turn into a 45-minute workout, which might turn into 5 days a week. And it's like, now
and even if it's nothing, you still built the habit.
Yeah, you're still driving there. And I was like, I promise you, there'll be days you'll go in and go to the bathroom, and then you'll be sitting there and you'll be taking a piss and you go, fuck it, I'll work out. I'll go do something. I'm here. I'll go do something.
You see other people.
I think for me, if there was anything that I could do, if I can convince people, you'll have these people and they don't want to go to public gyms, and they're like, they think that they're uncomfortable. They don't think they're uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable.
Sure.
But they think that people's looking at them. They think people's going to judge them. Nobody there gives a shit.
Yeah.
And
if they do, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. Because at one point they was at the same place,
right?
So if you can, if there was one thing that I could change about anything, is convince people. Look, I know that you're uncomfortable. I know you don't want to be there, but trust me, if you could just be consistent for 1 month and just see a little bit of change, you won't give a shit about those people.
Nah.
Those people that you think is looking at you, they're just trying to pass time in between the set.
Yeah, right.
They don't give a shit what
They're
you're
just
doing.
thinking about
I don't know where else to look.
Exactly, Or
maybe you're kind of cute.
Exactly, So if you could just get in there and put horse blinders on and focus, you're so much better off. And I'll tell you this, we're all guilty of it. I was guilty of it at first. When I started working out, obviously you're looking around, you're seeing what people's doing also. You're not sitting there trying to fit in, but you're also not trying to sit there and be like, shit, I look stupid over here. You're trying to see what people's doing. You're just seeing the people that's there in your surroundings anyways, and you don't focus. If you can get it in your head to focus and just, who gives a shit what they're doing over there, and just do you, I promise you're going to see results. And I think that that's what's happened this whole time.
Yeah.
I have just made up my mind that I got to see results. So whatever I got to do, I just got to do.
That's it.
So,
all right,
is it that time?
It's about to. So I'm
Perfect.
I'm gonna start closing this out. First and foremost, man, one of the things I want to say is not only over the last 10 months of getting to know you, have you always been not just a good conversation. I always leave our conversations learning something, and I always leave enlightened about something going on, whether it's the fitness industry, whether it's cigars, whether it's whatever it is. It's always a genuinely good conversation.
That's awesome.
I've really enjoyed getting to meet you and get to know you over the last 10 months, man. It's been really cool, watching you go through your own transition for you and your own transition for me, from being not just a customer, but becoming a real friend. And, it's been really cool for me, man. And I love you. You're a super genuine guy. You're one of the most helpful. You're always looking out for other people. And it's been really, you've been a real blessing in my life. And it's been really awesome kind of just having you around, man. It's been really great. So I'm glad that you found us and we found you. And man, it's been really cool. So I appreciate you a ton.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, it's really been great, man. I really met some great people here, man, and I appreciate all the help and yeah, man, anytime, man.
You're the one doing the work, man. We're just here cheering you along.
I appreciate it, man.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if you need advice on anything ever, just apply, and you can just talk to him.
Yeah.
But if you need some cigars, 2nd Street up in Edmond, they've got everything you could ever want. And the other thing too is it's like you were talking about. It's a place you can go in and ask questions and find something, and they're going to direct you towards the right thing. You need a classic car. This is it.
I got you.
That's right.
Plumbing, whatever. Hey, also, if you're hadn't had your protein shake, I keep protein and creatine at the shop.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Provided by Triad.
That's right. Well, man, anything you wanna bring up or plug or talk about before we get out of here?
No, man. Again, I just appreciate everything. You guys are great, man. Like I've met some great people here, man, and I look forward to seeing where we all end up, man. And just keep it moving forward to the positive. That's it.
This has been a blast. Kevin, you got anything?
Man, I could sit here and smoke a whole nother cigar and finish this bottle of whiskey with you, man. This has been a blast, man. It's been a fun conversation.
Real fast couple hours.
Oh yeah, it's this time has been enjoyable, and again, I get fewer and fewer of these with a new baby at home. But wife is calling.
Yeah,
I think Thomas noticed that.
Oh yeah, I can feel it. I know, Alyssa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, man. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate it, man.
It has been 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, I really appreciate it. It's been great, man. It's been fun, you know.
Hey, well, we love you, buddy.
Hey, I love you too,
That's
man.
Right.
Really, that's awesome, man.
I don't know what episode we're on, but we love you guys too.
Yep.
So
36.
That's really 36. God,
that's
wild.
God damn. Well,
Awesome,
all right,
man.
For anybody who's still listening, we appreciate you.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.